evening and welcome to the FE Bar. I'm your host, Mr. Jack Jormader, and joining me tonight is not Mr. Jack Pickering. He is ill. So joining me tonight is a proper Formula E journalist. It is Nick Golding. We have lots to talk about tonight from a hectic weekend in Shanghai. Mitch Evans claimed victory on Saturday and he's clawing himself into championship contention. And Antonio Felix fine form continues. Surely Porsche will be mad to drop him for next season. Remember, this is your show. Come on and have your say and give us your opinions on the Shanghai E-Prix. Mr. Nick Golding, hello. With the sunnies on.
Hello.
How are we?
What can I say? I'm very good, mate. I feel like I've got massive shoes to fill. Pico, I know you're watching. I hope you feel better. Thank you for giving me this responsibility because I have no idea why, because this is going to be a car crash with me. But that's all good. We're here to have fun. I'm good. Shades are on because I'm absolutely knackered. But I've made the effort. I've got, come on, Pico wears a blazer. I've got to do the same.
Yeah, he does. He looked incredibly smart, and you, my friend, look incredibly smart today. How was your weekend, though? Because you had a busy weekend, because it wasn't just Shanghai for you.
It was not just Shanghai. The day started with, obviously, free practice 2. Well, free practice 1 on Friday, obviously. But in terms of the weekend, as we say, started, obviously, what time was free practice 2? 1 a.m.?
1 a.m.
Something. Yeah, don't remind me. So up for 1 a.m. for FP2. Quick 30-minute nap before qualifying. And then quick hour and a half nap for the race, and then straight into a shift for Racing News 365 for also the Monaco Grand Prix. So that was Saturday and Sunday. I was meant to then help out with the Indy 500, but I'll be completely honest, I fell asleep on the 5th lap. So Nick struggles if you're watching. I have no idea who you are, but I fell asleep on the 5th lap.
I'm sure
whoever's
Nick struggles is
you know what though? Out of all those races, which category was the best of the weekend? Formula E, no doubt.
Okay.
So you know what? I did the most important one.
Interesting. Because IndyCar I thought wasn't too bad, but there was a lot of cautions. But anyway, the last one was
I missed
pretty good,
it.
but you missed it. You should have caught up. Bad from you. But never mind.
Shades off.
But never mind. So right, we got to start because I know I promised it. Right. So I locked ourselves because Mr. Pickering couldn't tweet on Sunday because I locked the Formula E Zone Twitter account. And
I heard about this.
This was a funny story. So waiting for practice Saturday night. Wait, 1 o'clock in the morning, you're up, you're waiting around, and you're thinking about playing with some settings. And I realised earlier in the day that we started Formula E Zone 10 years ago on the 14th of May, 2014. And
happy birthday.
Thank you. Yeah, 10 years
That's
we've been
the first
doing this.
thing. Happy
Crazy,
birthday.
Right? And
Laps all round.
So me thinking, oh, you could add a birthday, right? So I thought, why? And then Twitter or X would allow you to go down to 2014. So I put 2014 as our birthday on the Twitter, and then the account immediately got blocked because you have to be 13 years old to be on Twitter. So the account immediately... Yeah.
Hold on, I had to look now when I joined Twitter because that's news to me.
So you had to be 13 years old, and obviously being born in 2014 meant that we were 10 years old, and therefore the account was blocked. But that wasn't all there. So then I had to try and go through Twitter's support system, and it gets worse, Nick. It gets worse because I put in a request.
Is this a struggle that I'm going to be proud of?
This is a struggle. This was a struggle for myself. So this is when it's late and you do something dumb, and we're going to get onto this, and it'll be something that we're going to add into the show for tonight. So I'm there thinking, so I sent a picture. You have to send a picture of your ID, so my passport. So I thought, I've got a picture of my passport. It was my old passport. So that was like, oh my God. Took a picture of my old passport. I had it saved on the computer, and they didn't get back to me because I didn't read that it needed to be valid. I just said sort identification, so I've got something, put it up. Then so it wasn't till Sunday actually morning that because that was Saturday night when I was trying, and then I thought, I'm going to bed now. I've ruined all this. I can't tweet, can't do anything. So then Sunday woke up and I thought, I need to. So I took a picture of my actual passport, and then they got back to me straight away. It was like, right, we need your parents. This is where it gets really bad. We need your parents' passport to prove that you're, that you're of age. So I needed to get my mum. So I went and got my mum's passport. It's like, Mum, I need your passport. Took a picture of my mum's passport. Then I needed to go and dish out my birth certificate because I needed proof of my age, and like I needed what was it, legal guardian like proof or something like that. So I had to go and get my birth certificate, took a picture of my birth certificate, uploaded that, and then within 20 minutes the account was unlocked and they were like, yeah, you're clearly over the age of 13. I was like, yeah, I know, it was just a stupid mistake. But that's how
that is not a struggle.
That is
not a struggle. That is a story.
That is a story and a half. And that was it. So to add to tonight's show, if you want to come on, is there something dumb that you've done? Not like saying you, Nick, but like anyone in chat. If someone
hold on.
What? Go on.
Are you doing this just because I'm here and we know that 9 times out of 10 something happens to
maybe.
me? Because you've never done this with Pico, but the one time I'm here as a special co-host and you decide to bring struggles up, this is going to be the shortest FE bot. I'm offended.
Yeah, so well, you've got plenty of struggles, so maybe we can delve into some of yours. But passport
struggles,
yeah, that as well. But if
some
you've
good
got
stories about that, yeah.
If you've got any struggles, basically anything that you've done which you're like, oh my god, that was so dumb, I can't believe I did that, or if you know someone that did something and you're like, oh my god, my friend did this, it was so dumb, and you're happy to come and share it, then we'd love to take it. It's just dumb moments. Have you got
what? Can I add something?
Go on.
If we get one which is so extraordinary that we can't believe it, I will share before the end of the show one of the most embarrassing struggle stories. It does involve a passport. It's not the Saudi Arabia incident. It was before that. It was another passport, another time. So if we get something that's so out of this world, I will share that story.
There you go,
and probably regret it quite quickly. That story though does not go on Nick Golding struggles. Just to say, I have a reputation to keep going.
So there we go. So if we get a struggle that we can't believe, right, then Nick.
What have I done?
Nick will do that. So there we go. So we're 8 minutes into the show. I haven't spoke about Formula E yet. But I suppose it's now a good time to speak about Formula E because we had 2 pretty hectic races in Shanghai. We'll talk Saturdays first. Obviously, Mitch Evans won, and there was quite a bit of a controversial bit about this race. Is obviously Evans on lap 19 managed to break the sort of got in between both Da Costa and Verline, and then obviously overtook Verline, and then Verline got him back, but he got him back at that turn 11-12 chicane, but cut the grass while doing so, and then everyone, like Evans, was wondering why he hadn't got a penalty or why something hadn't happened. So we'll start there, basically. Did you think, because the stewards deemed it as basically a racing incident, he didn't gain advantage for cutting the track, do you think that was correct?
See, my mind has changed on this about 50,000 times. So initially, when watching the race and it happened, I thought, hold on, penalty please, because he cut the corner and gained the race lead whilst battling, obviously. He was in second at the time, cut the corner and was in the lead. And I was like, okay, this is slam dunk, he has to give the place back. Then I watched the onboard replays and I thought, actually, you know what? Pascal was almost alongside, didn't really have anywhere to go. Okay, fair enough. It didn't impact the race anyway. Mitch still won. But then when you then look at an overhead, and at that chicane, the second part of it, if that makes sense, they were taking so much curb, but Mitch actually took kind of a wider line. Mm-hmm. So Pascal probably could have just hit that curb harder and not cut across the grass as much. It's a hard one because on the one hand, yes, he had nowhere to go, but on the other hand, he did gain an advantage. I think had Pascal won the race, there would have been a penalty. But I think because he didn't, there was really no need to, because even if he gave the place back, Pascal would have still probably finished second, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, 100%. So that's what do you think if Pascal had won that race, do you think this would have been a bit more controversial?
Slam dunk. It would have been a penalty.
You think it would have been a penalty?
Yeah, if Pascal had won the race, then it would have been a penalty, because odds on Jaguar would probably have appealed, and I don't then see how the stewards could say, nah, it's fine, don't worry. Especially if let's imagine if he'd won the race because of that overtake.
Yeah.
That would.
Yeah, I think. For me, I think that saved him. right? For me, I think that saved him in terms of him finishing second. I think because then, well, Evans got past it, Evans won the race. When I look at it again, I do also see where the stewards came from. I don't. Evans kind of took the racing line. He didn't really leave Pascal any racing room, if you want to put that in quotation marks. So I can see where it came from. It did look slam dunk that he'd overtaken and won on the grass, and even I was expecting it. But at the same time, I was glad that the stewards did decide to just keep it as a, he didn't gain an advantage because he did finish second. Because the problem with the peloton style races, and I suppose like Maximilian Gunther, I know he was massively at fault for his incident with Jake Hughes and Eduardo Mortara. But it also, you could go with Antonio Felix da Costa as well. Maybe that's a better example with the Jean-Eric Verne at the end of that race.
Yeah.
You lose 5 seconds, you're out of the points, right? And with the championship battle as tight as it is, I don't know. My argument was because he finished second on the road and therefore he didn't win the race, he didn't need the penalty and if he got the penalty on top of that, then you're just you're taking him out of the championship fight, I think. And I don't think that was... I know you could argue that's maybe not the right way to look at it, but I just felt if he did that, he didn't win the race, he didn't gain a lasting advantage, you could argue. And then you're taking 18 points out of him from the championship, and you're sort of handing Cassidy the championship then.
Yeah, I think it's one of those that, again, they didn't really need to do anything because in the end it didn't impact the end result, even if, let's say, Pascal got in the lead, was either instructed to give the place back or did it of his own accord. I don't think Nick would have got him anyway.
Yeah.
So from that point of view, it didn't impact it. But then you then got to look at, okay, if that didn't get a penalty, how comes there were other drivers who were penalised for not cutting the circuit and gaining advantage, but for forcing another driver off the track? There was again that bit of inconsistency because obviously Oliver Rowland didn't get anything.
Yeah.
Antonio Felix da Costa did.
Yeah. So it's very interesting. But let's talk Mitch Evans though, because obviously Mitch Evans won the race. Was that at lap 19? Because the Porsches at that point were 1 and 2, and they were trying their best to block. And Mitch goes around the outside, right? And then da Costa doesn't really have an answer then, and we're very close to that go point, which was to go to the end. Even though Verline got him back in that instance and he had to overtake him on the last lap, was that the key moment, do you feel, for Mitch Evans to have won that race?
Yeah, to be honest, I think it was just very, very well managed by Mitch, and he's found some form all of a sudden. It is deja vu to last season because he's the dark horse again. He's the slight outsider, but I think that was pivotal. But he did the thing which Nick Cassidy's done really well, is he doesn't get involved in any of the trouble, any of the drama. He just bides his time. And then when it is time to go, as they did in the race, the Jaguars, and obviously Mitch in this case, had that energy advantage to, take the lead in. Once he was in the lead, that was it, job done.
Yeah, indeed it was. So what we're going to do now is we're going to hear what Mitch Evans had to say after the race.
Mitch, your second win of the season. Another great result for the team as well.
Yeah. It was a tough race. It was gonna kind of to be expected, to be honest. Obviously, starting towards the front can be good, can be bad in these types of races, but I think we managed it pretty well. Didn't really get outside the top probably 5, 6. So I think we just did what we needed to do. I think obviously the Porsches were working well together, and I was able to break that up and then get into the lead when I wanted to, and then I actually thought it was going away from me when Pascal threw it up the inside at 8, and then I covered that, and then the pass, him going off track, I thought maybe then it was going to be difficult to get him back, but I knew I had energy on him, and had to go into one and got it done. So obviously with Nick in third, great result. And it was just what we kind of needed to do. Hopefully we can repeat something similar tomorrow.
Both you and Nick had a better energy towards the end of the race there than most of the drivers around you. Were you aware of the advantage that Nick had on you with energy? The team was keeping me up to date with obviously most cars and Nick, so I knew he had energy on me. So I think Nick he helped me quite a bit, and towards the end of the race, just to not attack me, so I could attack obviously Pascal.
It was a shame that he couldn't get into second. Yeah, I think if I stayed in the lead the whole way, then we could have probably got that done. But yeah, still a good result for the team. But obviously, I'm sure he, sitting here wanting to win or be second. So, but yeah, just the way it went today. So yeah, we'll see what happens tomorrow.
Finally for you, Mitch, that's 2 wins now in 4 races. Just how important is it having that kind of form at this part of the season with 5 races to go?
Yeah, it doesn't hurt. Obviously, between now and the end, everyone needs to be scoring big. But obviously, these guys are on form as well. So, yeah, but it's just the way it is. It kind of feels a bit like last year. Everyone scoring big, throughout the second phase of the season, and that's just how it's going to be. So you always have to be there. And obviously, I'm not in the best position in terms of championship. I'm not bad, but I'm not, as good as these guys. So I've got a bit of work to do. But there's still obviously 5 races left, so I'll just do what I can. And obviously, a result like this helps. So yeah, just got to try and keep scoring well. So yeah, hopefully we can do that again tomorrow.
So yeah, there was the thoughts of Mitch Evans after the race. We've got to talk Sunday though, because obviously Antonio Felix da Costa, like the fine form for him continues, right? So ever since this potential Nico Muller stuff, Antonio Felix da Costa has been on fire, and full credit to him. I'm surely now, right? I know in football you've got Eric Ten Hag and he's technically won the FA Cup, and he could still be losing his job, but da Costa is doing everything that he can possibly can to make sure that he keeps that job for next season.
I mean, if we count Mazzano, who's won 3 of the last 6 races, he's technically won the most races this season, which is crazy. He's just, it's honestly like his season 6 form. It's really, really weird. He's suddenly this is the best I think we've seen him probably since he won the championship, which is nuts when he started the season so badly as well. And of course, he's dealt with the whole Nico thing amazingly. He's dealt with the Mazzano thing instantly, amazingly. But to be fair, Sunday in general, for me, bold take, here we go. I think that was possibly the best race of the Gen 3 era, if not one of.
We'll talk about that in 2 seconds. But yeah, I kind of agree. And I think people are starting to get, I suppose we've had enough pelotons now. And even though it was less, you could argue people was less of a peloton, but I think it was a less of a peloton because I think the drivers are starting to tactically understand these races much better. What do you make of that?
I mean, the thing that's crazy is it's as I was speaking to Toby on Discord the other day, it's all about finding the balance, because there was only 1 lap difference, yet we saw on Saturday the first 2/3 of the race were the peloton at 7-8 seconds slower than what the pole time was in qualifying. Whereas on Sunday, which was 1 lap less, from the get-go, the pace was only 2 to 3 seconds off. It did slow down a little bit, but I think at its slowest point, it was only 5 seconds off qualifying. And of course, then we had, an earlier surge to the finish as well. And I think in general as well, Sunday was cleaner. Pace was actually rewarded, and we saw that qualifying was also important, because on Saturday, it didn't matter where you qualified, you could still come through the field. Whereas with Sunday, as we saw with Pascal Wehrlein and Jake Dennis, qualifying obviously in the bottom half of the field, they couldn't make the ground up because the pace was too quick.
Indeed. And I think drivers like Norman Nato and Nick de Vries, obviously Nick de Vries, we're going to talk about him a little bit later, but even Norman Nato led quite a lot of that Sunday race. And I think a lot of drivers have realised, just get to the front. Just get to the front. Yes, you're going to have an energy deficit, but then drop back towards the end, save that in those last couple of laps and finish in the points. And I think drivers have sort of clocked on that I'm not worried about losing the lead anymore. Maybe I can just sit in the lead, stay out of the trouble, and then just filter back a little bit towards the end, because I know I'm not going to win. We don't have the efficiency or X, Y, and Z. And then pick up some big points, because that's what Nick de Vries and Norman Nato were able to do.
I mean, when you look at Norman Nato, he kind of led probably 2/3 of the race, which with the pelotons last season, the driver that led the bulk of the race normally finished like 7th or 8th. I think back to Stoffel Van Dorn in Sao Paulo last season, led the bulk of the race and finished, towards the bottom of the points. Whereas now we're seeing the drivers they'll use up some energy to lead the race, and then all they've got to do is then drop back to 2nd or 3rd, preserve some energy. I think Tom said on commentary how much they actually save in the slipstream. I want to say it was 0.5%.
Yeah.
Might not be correct on that one, but it was around that, which is staggering. When you think of over 2 laps, then you can save 1 whole percent. So all you've got to do is lead the first 2 thirds, stretch the pack a little bit, which is what NATO did on Sunday, which kind of hurt Jake Dennis, to be honest. Dropped to second or third for a bit, and then had that energy at the end to then finish on the podium, which was probably the best drive we've seen from him as well, in particular. Since Rome last season, I'd probably say.
Yeah, 100%. I agree. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to have a look at the championship standings and see where those 2 races sort of take us. So leading the way is Nick Cassidy on 167 points. He is 25 clear of Pascal Wehrlein in second. Mitch Evans now bringing himself into championship contention, 35 points off in third. Oliver Rowland there in fourth. Jake Dennis, we're going to talk about him a bit later, in fifth. It's his championship done. John-Eric Verne in 6th, they have 101. Antonio Felix Costa bringing himself up into 7th with 84. Maximilian Gunn for a bit of a disappointing weekend. He only picked up 10 points. He's in 8th on 69. And then Stoffel Van Dorn on 53. And Jake Hughes, who, again, finishing 2nd, picked up his first podium of the season. I suppose that was a good result for him, getting those points for McLaren and Jake. And obviously being on pole. And I suppose the other thing that we need to talk about with pole, how close was qualified just over both days? Unreal.
I mean, especially with Sunday, what made it even more dramatic is that qualifying finished like in the UK at 4:45 in the morning.
Yeah.
So I was like, I was hanging a little bit. I was thinking, right, we're so close to sleep. You can do this. Okay, it's going to be a really close. I kind of thought it'd be a close duel because the duels in general on Sunday, all of them pretty much was like only had like a 10th or 2 tenths between them, and then the final. I mean,
yeah, unreal.
No words.
Unreal.
You can't get any closer. Here's the question though, that I've always wondered. Let's say, and I generally don't know the answer, which is why I'm asking this. If they'd done the exact same lap time, do they both start on pole or do they go again?
No, surely the person who does it first.
I don't know.
So the person who went first, who goes first, is the person that finishes 2nd on the road, isn't it?
I think it was Stoffel went first,
and he was and Jake Hughes.
That's
was
a good question.
That's
what would happen?
Question.
Because it's a duel. Look, I tell
They'd
you what.
They'd have to do it again because you can't.
My
do
debut.
I know. What a question, eh? Because you can't do it. Sure, it's not
Pico,
fair.
where have these questions?
It's not. It's not fair, right? Because technically the second person has the better because technically someone else is putting a layer, so they go second.
Oh.
But then
that
person did it first. Go on.
Qualifying. Jean-Eric Verne, was it the record or was it not?
So say that again. Sorry, I misheard.
So, Jean-Eric Verne on Saturday, the pole position.
Yep.
Was that 16 or was that 17?
I don't know.
Because we see because they said he matched the record. Okay,
yeah. Oh yes, of course. That's I think it's 17.
Yeah, come on, catch up.
Sorry,
catch up.
Switch your brain on, Jack. Come on.
I was thinking. When they came out and said, "Oh, he's matched the record," I was thinking, "Hold on."
They said
he matched it in Diriyah. I was like, I know that. I was there. I watched the celebrations.
Yeah.
And then they said 16 again. And I was like, huh? Apparently they didn't count Monaco 2019, which I don't understand when they then said he matched it in Diriyah. So my guess is they maybe didn't have like new record graphics ready, perhaps.
Maybe. Or they
found. I don't know.
Or they miscounted back in Diriyah. Like actually,
it wasn't until I woke up I realised.
Sorry, mate. Right. Really busy. The switchboard is absolutely jam-packed at the moment. So we're going to take our first caller, and then what we're going to do is we're going to hear from Antonio Felix Costa, and we'll take a break while we listen to Antonio Felix Costa, and then we'll come back on the other side and take some more of your calls. So the first person, Nick, that's going to take a call from us is going to be Blake. So I'm going to drag Blake in.
Bully Tom AI.
Hello, Blake.
Hello.
Welcome back to the FE Bar. How are you? What do you want to talk about?
Huh?
What do you want to talk about?
I'm going to talk about Jake Hughes. The first race is, I mean, the Peloton style of racing is just, it's just that. But in the second race, second his first podium of the season, I would say that's a big improvement. And also, he did beat Sam Bird. Well, even though he got injured in Monaco and has to miss Berlin. I think Jake Hughes has gotten a lot as I think if he can consistently take this form all the way to the end of the season in London, I think he might just keep that seat for next year. But anything has been confirmed though, so I could be instantly wrong about that.
I think Jake. Honestly, Nick, I don't know what you think, but I think Jake's just been a tad unlucky, if that makes sense. And like, I think it's been there. You know, he had the pole in Misano as well. He was unreal in Misano. Then the Peloton styles hadn't quite worked for him, and I think it just all sort of came together. And he kind of said himself that he understood it. I don't know what you think.
I mean, last season he was dubbed as one of the greatest rookies we've ever had, and I agree with that because over 1 lap pace, he's one of the best drivers we have. And actually, you've got to look at how many drivers really struggle in their second season to continue to adjust the Formula E. The Peloton is unlike nothing else. You know, Jack, me and you spoke to a load of the rookies in Berlin, and they were like, "Oh my god, that was the most stressful thing I've ever done." You know, Jake's still getting used to that, and I think his podium. He's a driver that I get a chance to speak to quite a lot, and I get on with him really, really well. So
he's good, Jake.
Probably the happiest I've been. He's a really, really good guy. Can't believe he's 30 though. That's nuts. I thought he was like 26. But it's like that's probably the happiest I've felt for a driver being on the podium for a long time. Actually, because he really deserved that. You know, he's worked so hard behind the scenes with McLaren, and he's had a lot of bad luck this season. You know, he just has. He's got the pace and. Yeah, no, he's good. Blake, though, I want to ask you though a quick question. Actually, I'm going to fire some questions now.
Go on.
What did you think then between Saturday and Sunday in terms of the Peloton?
I haven't watched the full highlights yet, but what I heard is that I think Peloton is just that type of style of racing in FE, which it's just it's good, but like it's mainly bad because they're all bunched up together, constantly slipstreaming each other like in Moto3. I think there's a lot of times where like you can cause an accident like just by the field just bunching up. Like the best example being Portland last year when was it Nico Muller that hit the wall and
yeah, it was Nico Muller.
Yeah, it was Nico Muller. He had a massive impact. It's just like they need to like find a way to like balance the circuit without trying to kill it. So it's a very hard task to for FE trying to balance this type of style of racing, I think.
Do you think Sunday's was better?
Huh?
Do you think Sunday's race was better race though? Because there was a difference between the two. Like there was a massive difference between Saturday and Sunday. I know you said you haven't seen the highlight, but you may have seen a little bit.
I think Sunday was I think I watched all Sunday, so I think it was better. It was better.
Yeah,
I agree.
I think the drivers are getting used to it. Blake, I have to ask though, have you got any dumb moments for us? We need a dumb moment. We need a dumb moment. Have you got one?
We know what's at stake.
Have you done something where you thought you...
What's a dumb moment?
So at the beginning of the show, I told off how I stupidly blocked or locked out the FEZ Twitter account, and that was my dumb moment. Like I couldn't believe I'd done that. Do you have a dumb moment for us?
My stupidest moment is that I was walking through the shops one day, and obviously it was like the first time doing it. And as soon as I come back and I checked my pockets and I realised, where's my keys?
Oh no!
I got locked. Yeah, for about like around 15 minutes, I was locked outside my house.
That's brilliant. All right, hilariously, you said this was the first time you went to the shops. Go on.
Sorry, can I actually follow up on that?
Yeah, go.
So what did you do? You had no. So what have you then done? Have you just been outside your house like?
I was
right.
Basically, what happened is that basically I know where the spare key is, and like the gate was locked. It was like I've got the first bit, I got the second bit, but the third bit actually was stuck. So I have to like, he's like I push against the gate, and I'm trying to get the third lock in, and it took around 5 minutes, and 5 minutes. It was horrible.
So no climbing was involved.
Wait, you're trying to Blake? Are you trying to break into your own house? Is that what you're trying to do?
Basically. It was
So how did the situation get resolved?
It's just the situation got resolved because in the back garden there's like a lock where I can get. So there was a spare key. So like So basically, I texted somebody I know, and they know the code, and I got the spare key, and I put myself back in the house, and I just literally put myself on the floor because I was so stressed.
My question was,
Have you left the house since?
yeah, that's a good one.
Probably not.
It's probably wise. It's probably wise. My question was, you said this was the first time that you popped to the shops. So, like, how old were you when you this first time
That's
when
a
you
good
popped
point.
to the shops?
16
That's
years
good
old.
listening.
16 years old.
16.
16. Popping to the shops and forgetting the key. Terrible.
Yeah.
Blake, that's a good one. That's a good one to get started.
that gets
we take
it.
that one. That's a brilliant one, Blake.
How rate it out of 5 stars of dumb?
Are we doing a rating system?
I don't know,
Okay.
but he's come on at that.
Hold on.
I think that's a 3
Who
star. I think it's a 3 star. I think you can forget your key.
Nah. I think
Especially
that's
if
harsh.
someone's
I think
3, okay.
I think 3.5 because I think you've got to take into account it's funny.
Yep.
There's offence involved,
Yep.
and he was 16.
Yeah.
But if I was 16 in that situation, I'd probably just go back to the shop and buy more snacks, and hope when I come back it's magically open.
Yes. Someone's
Who
come
needs
in.
that stress?
Or just sitting on the wall.
3.5. I'm going to write these scores down, by the way.
Is
I'm
that-
going to write this down.
That's
good.
not just for the Gem Point
We're-
3.5 either.
Can we
whatever it
do
was.
like a dumb moments championship?
We could.
A table.
Oh yes, that'd be a
Championship.
great idea. I actually
All right.
like it.
You know, I tell
We
you
just need
what.
the
This
stories.
is
We just need the stories.
so struggles.
Yeah,
All
Great.
right.
It's going to be a great show. It's going to be an
Right.
absolute
Like,
great show.
So currently I'm in the
3.5.
lead with 3.5.
Oh, yes. Jake, you are top of the leaderboard, my friend.
Well done. Leading the championship. Leading the
But,
championship.
I never led a championship. The closest I got in it is literally P8 in the British Touring Car Championship as Sim. So
Nice.
yeah.
Right,
I mean, fair
Blake,
play.
absolutely great call. Pleasure speaking to you. And,
Thank you.
We'll catch you. We'll let you know if you win the championship by the end. But a great story.
Good lad, Blake.
Absolutely great story. So what we're going to do now, we're just going to
Yes.
from our what a story, what a way to start the show. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to take a 3-minute break because the interview with Antonio Felix da Costa is 3 minutes long. So our 3 minutes break, and then we'll be taking some more of your calls. If you haven't joined the Discord yet, or you want to join the Discord, !Discord, and then you can join and come into the rating room, have your say. If you're already in the Discord and you think, oh yeah, I've got a story to tell, I want to have a say, make sure you join the waiting room, and we will get you on. We'll see you in a couple of minutes' time.
Antonio, back-to-back race weekends with a victory. Things are really clicking for you at the moment.
Please answer the question first.
Sure. Thank you.
I'm so
Yeah,
excited.
thank you for that. It's I mean, I'm not doing many things different, to be honest. I think we just understood what works for me as a team, and we diverged a little bit from what works to Pascal, and that's fine. You know, we just took a little bit of time to understand, mainly for the one lap performance. And yeah, in the races, usually we've been strong. I'm still super sad that me and Pascal haven't been able to get on the podium together. We've been telling each other that we need to make that happen, and it's either him or me. But no, super happy with the momentum that we've been able to build. You know, it's been a big run of races now since São Paulo. Almost every 2 weeks we're racing, and we've been able to crack on and keep building a little bit more every weekend. You know, with some 6th places, 5th places, and then eventually we got 3 wins already on the track in the last 6 or 7 races. So definitely a good momentum. Really a shame on how the year started. Plus that loss of win in Misano. Otherwise, I think we've been having a run of a championship contending. Contending car and driver. So it is what it is. We just try to have fun and give good races to the team.
Antonio, you alluded to the result back in Misano. That is still under review. You've actually crossed the line in first place more than any other driver this year. Does that result weigh on your mind at all? And if so, how do you go about blocking it out?
Yes. You're sure? No, that is something that I've thought about, and I think Mitch has got 2 victories, Cass and Pascal. On the road as well. So obviously it shows that the Jags and the Porsches, especially on these types of races where efficiency is key, we have a little bit of an edge on the others, I think, and that's good. But yeah, I mean, I've been through it all. I've been racing for 20 plus years, and I don't want to say that I'm getting old, but I think we just get a little bit more used to difficult moments sometimes and how to deal with them. But it's never nice, but it is what it is, and we just have to crack on.
And finally for you, Antonio, Portland next, which is a similar style track to here in Shanghai. How do you fancy your chances of maybe making it 3 race weekends with a win in a row?
That would be nice. That was probably my best weekend. Well, no, that's not true. But it was one of the good. That was a good weekend. Sorry, just start now. That was one of my best weekends last year. I got a podium there as well. So yeah, and I love racing in the States. We always do a bit of a training camp before, which last year I was with Norman and Stoff in LA getting ready for the race, and it paid off. Actually, you were driving out at the front on that race as well. So yeah, it's I do enjoy racing in the States. I think they do it differently there. They do it well, and yeah, gonna be fun.
And we are back from the break. I'll tell you what was funny, and as Nick, he's still reading all your comments.
Sorry, it's brilliant.
It's brilliant. It's good fun. So
Just Pico flirting with me. That's
yeah,
all it
no,
is.
it's hilarious. I
love it.
The chemistry is just off the charts. What I found quite funny.
It's the blazer.
It is the blazer. To be fair, the blazer is doing
And the sunglasses.
magical things for you. What I wanted to say was quite funny in that press conference actually was obviously because they were in China, they had the Chinese interpreter, which was quite funny. And in Sunday's press conference as well, which we saw with DaCosta and Norman, Norman did like a really long answer. And he was like, "Oh, I'm really sorry," and at the start there, like you could just tell they were so confused of what to do, and she's like, "No, you need to speak first before I." It was.
Well, I was confused. Like, I wasn't expecting it, but yeah, God, it was a long one.
It was a long one. It was a long one.
You have done a lot of editing.
Yeah, it was a lot of editing. Yeah, we cut it all out because there was no point having it twice. But then, you know what made it more funny for me is they've got the Chinese interpreter, but then all the questions that the people asked were in English, and Antonio Felix was sitting there like, "Oh, you do understand English? Oh, you do understand?" Like,
in all fairness, though, she did an amazing job.
Oh, she did do an amazing job. Like,
it takes some patience when the drivers are in that kind of jokey mood as well.
Yeah.
And they're just taking the piss out of your job, basically.
Yeah.
Look.
It was pretty funny. Right, let's get another caller on.
Oh, my cheeks
so
are smiling.
We've got Nikki. Nikki's happy to come on, so let's go and chat to Nikki. Nikki, you're on the FE bar. How are you?
Hello.
Can you hear us, Nikki? Oh, maybe not at the moment. We'll try. We'll come back to you, Nikki. We'll come back to you. We'll try. We're gonna try.
By the way, for someone who said,
yep.
Somebody said about my my notepad. Yes, I always have my notepad. I have a Formula E pen. It's upside down.
There we go.
Is it? And a Formula E notepad as well. Look at that.
To be fair, my ADB notepads.
And it's the same colour.
Oh no, matching. My notepad. It just has a big J on it to remind me that that's my name.
How old are you?
I don't know. To be fair, right, I'm also a primary school teacher at the same time. I'm one of my primary school teachers, and I was like, a notebook, brilliant.
I remember my name. My hairline though doesn't remember my head. That's my problem.
Right, what we're gonna do is we are going to drag in Chris. And
I need the Istanbul E-Prix.
Has to see. Everyone needs the Istanbul E-Prix. Chris, can you hear us? Hello, welcome to the FE bar. What would you like to talk about?
Well,
hey Chris,
how you doing? Right.
Very good.
How about the saddest 1-3 I think I've ever seen?
What do you mean?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I get what you mean.
Nick knows what I'm on about.
I know what you're on about too. Go on, explain to us, Chris.
I say I've never seen a team so miserable to get a 1-3 in any motorsport.
I wonder.
Go on.
I wonder if perhaps Jaguar thought Mitch maybe because Mitch was still under investigation. Was Mitch under investigation still at the time?
Well, this was the Mitch was under investigation, but he wasn't
Saturday,
really under, he wasn't under investigation because that was the Verline Mitch incident. They put Antonio Felix DaCosta, and we were like, "What on earth are you talking about?" It was Verline.
I wonder if that played a part.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's because Mitch is technically still part of that investigation, and with these things, who knows which way they're going to go? Because Mitch could have got given a penalty for if he was judged to forcing Pascal off the track. So maybe that was why. But I completely agree with you, Chris. It was weird.
Yeah. I mean, admittedly, watching James Barkley, I think he was the only happy person that Saturday.
He's always happy.
That's true, actually. But yeah, no, it worries me with, again, obviously they are probably the only team with two. Well, they are actually the only team with two competitive drivers.
Mm-hmm.
And with Mitch now, again, I was doubting him before Monaco, but with him now back in the title fight, admittedly, Mitch again always seems to leave it late to actually get in the fight.
Yeah.
Did it season 8, season 9, and again in season 10. But he is back in the fight, and
he is
35
back in the fight. Yeah, 35 points off. Do you think he can? He still has a chance, right?
Absolutely he does, but it requires Nick to have a bad race, which happens.
Yeah. It can happen indeed. Were you surprised?
It's going to be Portland.
Yeah, well,
Portland's the key, because we know with London, we're not going to have much overtaking, unless it rains again. But even when that happened last year, then the race was pretty uneventful. It's Portland. I think if he can take massive points out of Portland, then come London, I think Portland's going to be the decider if it's a three-way fight or if it's a two-way.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. Do you think, obviously, in terms of it being an upset free, I think because Nick Cassidy, and I suppose Nick Cassidy is quite a strong character and is a strong personality, and because he wasn't happy, do you think that brought the mood down for that top three?
So what I'm going to say with that is Nick is not, from what I've seen of Nick, he's not one to criticise in public. He's not one to criticise on the radio.
Yeah.
And
his radio is very spicy.
Yeah, but not to that level. Like, he was losing it. I'd probably say is probably the way to phrase that.
The nice way to say it, yes.
Yeah, he wasn't best thrilled with the team.
But were you surprised? Because he had 2% more energy, right? So he had 2% more energy, and he wanted to fight for the win, and Jaguar told him to hold station. Like, I know Evans was technically in front, but do you think Jaguar made the right decision in telling the drivers to hold station? And even though Cassidy had the energy advantage, they could have maybe got a 1-2 out of that race, potentially. Or do you think they did the right thing?
I think it would have been a 1-3 either way.
Okay, so if Cassidy went through, do you think then Evans still wouldn't have been able to have overtaken Pascal?
Yeah, that's probably my view, because, again, obviously Pascal was defending. I mean, we'll ignore that complete cutting off the corner that you guys spoke about earlier. But, yeah, I think only one of them would have got through.
What was your views on that? Do you think Pascal should have got a penalty?
Well, it's track limits, isn't it? I think it's more of an issue with the track, and they probably should have put a tyre barrier there. Obviously, first time racing there, these things happen. You learn. Again, reminds me of the Tokyo pit lane where car going straight off completely wipes off a car coming out of the pit lane.
Yeah.
When you go to a track the first time, you learn these things.
No. On that point, what did you think of the track?
I quite enjoyed it, actually. I'm surprised. I'm surprised how well it went.
Yeah, I echo that.
That's because I was expecting another Misano, bluntly.
we all
were. Exactly. I'm expecting the same when we go to Portland. I know going back to Portland.
Portland's a worse Misano, but I was expecting another Misano, but I don't know why it worked.
Yeah.
I cannot explain why it worked, but it worked.
It did work. Nick, just very quickly, what did you think? Do you think Cassidy should have gone for the win, or were you surprised with Jaguar's sort of like team orders and that?
The thing is, though, Nick and Mitch are very, very good friends, and there is an incredible amount of respect there. Despite obviously what happened in Rome last season, they get on really, really well, and they realise that pretty much the team's championship is basically wrapped up. In fact, they can wrap it up in Portland. So Jaguar currently lead Porsche by 73 points. If they leave Portland with a 94-point lead, which is very doable across two races, they win the team's championship. And with Nick, leading the championship quite comfortably, whilst he would have wanted the win, in all fairness, third for him in that race was still perfect. He still gained points on Jake, on Ollie, and Pascal only. With Pascal finishing second, Nick only, lost a few points, but he gained a load on him on Sunday. But my question then, though, for you, Chris, is because obviously Mitch has brought himself back into title contention. He's always, well, it does this every year. Do you think they're going to let the drivers fight in Portland and London, or do you think they're going to prioritise Nick, given he's got the championship lead?
I don't think they're willing to upset Mitch. That's my view anyway, as I don't think that the team would actually be willing to upset Mitch, and Mitch will only pull himself out of the title fight when he is mathematically out of the title fight. Until that point, part of me thinks they don't actually have a choice.
Fair enough.
Because Mitch is going to go for it anyway, isn't he? Because end of the day, he's a racing driver.
Yep, true.
Yep.
Chris, have you got a dumb moment for us?
Here we go. Can you overtake Blake?
Can you overtake Blake?
I don't think I can. I'm trying to think of one.
Have you got?
Pen is open.
Come on. So,
Come on.
A moment where you went, "Oh my days, what am I doing?"
A reference, by the way, if any of these stories get a 4.5 or above, then I will share my really bad story at the end. So that's the target. So there's no pressure, Chris, but at the moment, it's a 3.5 to beat if you want P1 in the championship.
I was going to say, I think I'm going to struggle with this because all I've got in my head is booking a bloody quarter to 7 flight to Berlin. And that's not a 3.5, is it?
Quarter to 7 flight in Berlin. That's a half a star at the moment.
Wait, hold on.
It is.
Why was that a bad idea? Oh, you live 2 hours. So you booked a quarter to 7 flight in the morning and you live 2 hours away from Heathrow. Heathrow?
Gatwick.
Gatwick.
So what time did you wake up?
About 2:30.
It's not great, but I've done that.
It's not.
It's
not great.
I'll
be honest, Chris. I don't know what Jack thinks. I don't think it's a 3.5.
No,
and we are being brutally honest here.
We're being brutally honest.
We are fair stewards. The blazer is on in my case. I've got to be fair. I look like a Guinness World Record person. I just realised.
You do actually.
Yeah, I just realised that. Sorry. I've even got the glasses. My glasses as well. Hold on. Give me a second.
Get the glasses.
Where's your clipboard? I think is the important thing.
Oh, there we go. Here we go. This is the true Nick I know.
For the world record, I'm afraid. I don't know. I'll be honest.
It's a 1 star out.
It's poor.
It's a stinky one.
It's a stinky thing.
I'll be honest. I think you get a 1.
I've done
in my case.
Yeah, 1 star.
Jack,
I think that's generous.
Yeah, I did something similar.
I'll be honest.
Paris E-Prix, 5:45 Eurostar. First Eurostar to get into Paris. That was like a half to a start just to get to King's Cross.
I was going to say, how do you get to King's Cross when the trains aren't running?
Night bus. I remember dragging my suitcase to the bus stop and getting on the night bus into central London.
That's painful.
But 5:45 flight got me into 9 o'clock in the morning. Got me in, and it was the cheapest by miles. But Chris, thank you so much. We're gonna go and try and get somebody else in.
See you later, Chris.
See you later.
See you later.
All right, let's try Nikki again. Let's see if she's with us.
I mean, Blake, you're in the lead, so well done, mate. You've made it past one person.
He's doing
a lost key is still going strong.
Nikki, are you there?
I'm here. Can you hear me, boys?
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear, Nikki. Welcome to the FE Bar.
Hi, Nikki.
What would you like to talk to us about?
You know what I'm going to start talking about? Something that I've ranted for the last couple of FE bars.
Okay, how did you find the peloton style of races then? I'm assuming that's what it is.
Yes. Well, you know my opinion on them, and after Shanghai, I'm still in that same opinion.
Interesting. What about Sunday's race? Did Sunday's race change anything slightly for you? Did Sunday, did you think actually this is a tiny bit better?
Obviously, apart from the incident with Sam Bird, I actually found that quite boring. Not like Monaco, but
interesting.
I don't think it was as exciting as the Saturday race.
Hold on. So you don't think Sunday was exciting as the Saturday race, but you don't like the Saturday race?
No, it's not that. I don't like the style of the racing. Like when Pascal hit Nick Cassidy, and obviously Sam locked up and hit into Nick DeBris.
Mm-hmm.
To me,
Sorry, go on,
sorry.
Nikki.
So to me, it still seems to be dangerous, and I still think that.
So it's the aggression you don't like?
Yes.
Okay, interesting.
No, it is interesting because obviously the little argy-bargy stuff I don't mind too much. I don't mind when they're getting their elbows out and they're trying to be a bit aggressive. And I didn't see much wrong with the. I know Cassidy did, but I didn't really see much wrong with the Verline Cassidy sort of incident on the final lap. I didn't see much wrong with.
I'm with Nicky on this.
You think they're too aggressive?
I think Saturday. I agree with Nick. I think Saturday for me was too aggressive. There was so many incidents. You know, there was one case, I can't think what happened. It was at the beginning of the start-finish straight. One driver got forced onto the grass. You know, there was. Yeah. For me, I like close racing, but I think there's a line. I think when the peloton happens, it's suddenly there's always a point. It goes from being really calm to all of a sudden there'll be like a mental 3 or 4 laps where everything goes out the window and it's just all-out aggression. Nicky, though, for you then, as a fan of the sport, what would be the kind of style of racing you want to see in Formula E?
Well, because obviously the cars are evolving as quickly as they are, I sort of know that that's going to probably become the norm of a style of racing. So my opinion is, so say somebody like the older people that have been in it, say from season 1, like Sam and Sebastian and Lucas, they would probably prefer the type of street races we used to have. And I feel that like Sam and Sebastian and the older people, not the older people, but the people that have been in the series for a long time, are struggling to come to terms with that strategy and that style of racing. Whereas someone like, I don't know, Nick Cassidy, for an example, has got that style of racing down to a T. I think it was Berlin or Monaco where he went from 21st to 1st. So it seems to me like Cassidy's got the whole strategy and package.
Interesting.
It's an interesting point. I'm trying to just.
Whereas I feel like the people that have been there probably more than 5 seasons are not. I'm not saying that they're too old to be in the series. Maybe you know what I mean. You know what I mean. I think that
you're old. Go.
But then Sam Bird won the race. I know there was a
type of race.
I know there was a D rate involved in Sao Paulo, but Sam Bird did win that race, and that was the peloton style. So it's not like Sam can't do it.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that coming from a Sam Bird fan. And admittedly, he got on the radio and did admit it was his mistake, which, you know, fair play to him, you know.
I want to go back to what Mark Preston said, because actually what Mark Preston said was actually quite interesting. He said no one talks about in Formula 1 when they're fuel saving or they're lifting and coasting or they're tyre saving, right? And we watched I don't know, did you watch the Indy 500 on Sunday?
Of course, because obviously I'm a McLaren fan, yeah.
So, but the Indy 500 is a peloton, right? And even the commentators themselves, they're like, it's basically at some point of the race was a peloton. So my question is, I know they're going at 230 miles per hour and it's an oval track, but it was a peloton style race. Did you enjoy? And we saw 8-10 cautions in that race, and the crashes in the Indy 500 are just as will be 10 times scarier than
in Indy, to be fair.
Than in Indy. But did you enjoy that race, for example? That's what I want to know. So then, what's the difference? So my question to throw back, just sitting on the fence here, is if we're okay with a peloton style race on an oval at 220 miles per hour and seeing the shunts that we saw, why can't Formula E have that?
Because maybe I like the old style of Formula E where it's on the street circuit where it originated from.
Okay, no, I think that's a fair point.
But at the end of the day, fellas, I'm not one for saying that Formula E should stay like on street circuits and not evolve. I'm not saying that.
Yep.
Obviously, 100%. The sport should evolve.
So, final thing from me.
And also that I've also got to come to terms with that in the next generation of car, maybe there's going to be more this style of racing in Formula E, and maybe that's what's going to happen in the future.
Yeah.
I think there's a good chance we're going to see more of this until Gen 4. Because for Gen 3.5, even though the car has slightly softer tyres, this incredible acceleration, the aero package on the car is the same as what we've got currently. And that's something Jean-Eric Vergne in particular was very unhappy about, because he even said, when I spoke to him in Berlin, we're just going to get the peloton races next season. So I agree with you, to be honest, but it's Gen 4, which is going to be a big thing, because if we have these pelotons still in Gen 4, which the drivers don't like either, we are probably going to see, as Vern said, quite a few actually leave the championship, because it's not an enjoyable style of racing. It is aggressive, and we see so many drivers hurting their hands, hurting their wrists through a sudden collision that has nothing to do with them.
Take Sam last year in Rome.
Yeah.
100%. Nikki,
No, fortunately, the FIA have made those cars super safe in single seater. But what if that hadn't had the halo or the hands device or the structure? And that's another biggest concern for me. Are more drivers going to have hand injuries? Sam obviously had the one in season 8, and then obviously by no fault of his own, he made a mistake and then ended up with another injury.
Indeed. Right, Nikki, before we let you go, have you got a dumb moment for us?
Oh, can I ask Nikki one more question, actually?
Go on.
Yeah, of course you can.
As you are a massive McLaren fan, McLaren's number 1, was Sunday for you good or bad? Because it seems like number 2 is McLaren's lucky number.
Yeah. I was pleased for Jake Hughes. Obviously. But could he have got the win? Who knows? Maybe he just stayed in the second because he wanted the podium. Who knows? Maybe he could fight for a win. But I was super, I've followed McLaren since they were first in Formula E when Randy Rast was there last year. And from the first race, I thought, hang on a minute, this Jake was a good driver, and I'm so glad he's got his first podium. But the next one, I'll keep my fingers crossed and hope it's the win. Then obviously, I knew the Ferrari would probably win in Monaco anyway.
Yeah.
And
then Indy as well, last car.
And then Indy.
Yeah.
2 is McLaren's lucky number.
Pato was so unlucky though, because I watched the whole race on that last lap. Unfortunately, it's just how racing is, isn't it?
It is.
I fell asleep on lap 5, I'll be honest.
But to be fair, you did have a long day, so.
I'm actually a registered insomniac, so I stay awake most of the day and most of the night anyway. So.
Yeah. So
fair play.
Nikki, going back to the before we let you go, we had that dumb moment from Blake, dumb moment from Chris, dumb moment from me locking ourselves up. Is there a moment where you were like, oh my god, I cannot believe I have done this?
Gone outside and tripped over a drain pipe, and then 2 weeks later gone and tripped over the same spot.
That's good. That's good one.
That's brilliant.
That's brilliant. We like that one, Nikki.
I'm sorry. Blake,
the thing about it is, Nick, right? It's always my left knee. I'm left-handed, so it's always the left knee. So I've got a piece of scar there, but there's got a hole in it almost. Where my kneecaps moved.
Oh no!
And it's the fact
that it all seems to be in the same place.
How many days was there between tripping over the same pipe?
14 days, so 2 weeks.
Oh, sorry.
2 weeks.
You know what?
What's that one?
For me, I think that's a 4. I think that's top of the championship.
4.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant.
It reminds me of Sideshow Bob's. It reminds me of Sideshow Bob, where he stands on the rake and he hits it again, and he stands on another rake and hits him again. It's kind of.
According to my parents, I've always been clumsy from a child, so.
There we go.
I mean,
that's a good one.
What do you give that? I think it's a 4.
4. It's close to 4.5 though.
No, that's not quite 4.5 has got. Poof.
Okay, 4.5's got to blow our minds. Okay, 4.5.
Nikki, you're on top of the championship. Well done.
Thank you.
Chris, you're still in last.
Oh, Chris is still in last. Right, what we're going to do is we're going to take a very, very small break. But this is a fun small break. Because, yes, it is Nick at 9, but Nick's already here. But it's Nick at 9:04, technically, at the moment, because it's 9:04. So we're going to take a couple of minutes break. Because we want you to come up with as many questions as possible. And we haven't even discussed what these questions are about. Is this anything, Nick? Are we like any question?
Anything. Let's do it. Anything. Why not? I'm having a good time, and I'm not even drinking alcohol, which Pico does. I'm on the water. But this is lovely.
I was on the tea. The tea's finished. We'll take a couple.
Oh no! I've got water down me though.
Oh no! the outfit's ruined. Another struggle.
No screenshots. No struggles. No.
So,
oh no, it's all going wrong.
Messages in chat. So, questions in chat, please. For what question? Any question you could possibly want to ask Mr. Nick Golding for a 10-minute section at Nick and 9, and then we will take your call. So again, if anything that you want to talk about the race, come on.
Anything.
Anything, and then also if you've got a dumb moment for us that you need to share, make sure you come on. We will speak to you very soon. And we are back from the break. Nick, we've got quite a few questions. Do you want me to read them out? I think I could read them out.
Yeah, go for it. I'm
trying
just
to think.
trying to sort out my situation.
It says, "Oh yeah, the water situation." So the first one I
it's not good.
First one I can see comes from Saz. Do you have a pet, and can it come on camera?
Well, I do have a pet. He is called Smudge. He is a 7-year-old cockapoo. His birthday was actually a couple of weeks ago, but I was in Berlin. He cannot come on camera because he's currently in the shower because he rolled in fox feces.
Excrement. Yeah, there
so
you go. Yeah.
Unfortunately, no. But for example, if I'm ever on camera again for this, I will bring Smudge on.
We'll bring Smudge on. What do we have?
Although to be fair, hold on. Whilst you're looking, I'll get a picture.
Okay. It says, what rating is Nick's dumb moment? So I suppose you're. Oh, that's a good
Smudge.
picture. So technically, he made it.
He did make it.
Smudge made it. It's a cute dog, to be fair.
Smudge. I've just barked. That's just weird. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
That's brilliant. I've got. It said here. What rating is Nick's dumb moment? So what rate? So your dumb is that a 5 out of 5 then? Yours, or is it 4.5?
I'll be honest. It's more than a 5.
More than a 5.
It's one story which, like I said, can never go on social media because it's that bad. And given my job, I probably also can't say it, but I'm going to because I've made a promise and I stick to my promises. So more than a 5.
Terrible.
A 5.5. It's bad.
Right.
The thing. Okay, hold on though. But I say this: if someone does a 4.5 dumb story, if I say mine, I will let you guys rate it.
Okay.
So maybe I'm just chatting pure waffle.
Maybe it's not even that bad. What's your first motor racing memory? That comes from Pico.
Oh wow, first Pico. That's a good question. And Pico's a good journalist.
Yeah, he knows what he's doing.
So I have 2. So I was born in 1999, and a lot of my childhood was spent at go-kart tracks because my dad used to be a go-kart racer. So one of my first memories is watching him race at a circuit called Butmore Park, and it was a thunderstorm. And back in those days, they raced in anything. So in real life racing, it's my dad racing. So I must have been probably 3 or 4 years old. In terms of watching a race, 2 stand out. So I've watched F1 and MotoGP my entire life, and obviously Formula E as well. But obviously, from races when I was 2 or 3, I don't remember. In terms of an actual memory I remember, that's really hard to say. The 2005 United States Grand Prix, where obviously only 6 drivers took the start. I also remember the 2005, I think it was 2005, it might have been 2004, the MotoGP Spanish Grand Prix from Jerez, where Valentino Rossi sent it down the inside of Sete Gibernau at the final corner, and they obviously collided, and then it became a famous incident. So that. So where are we then? So it says, which Formula E drivers do you think could beat in a game of poker? So who do you think you could beat in a game of poker? Who could I beat? Sasha Fenestraz.
Fair enough.
Yeah, if we were to say players I could beat, Sasha Fenestraz, because he's one of the funniest drivers in general I've ever met. So I think he'd probably, if he had some good cards, I think he'd probably start laughing. In terms of people I think would be an amazing poker player, Nick Cassidy.
Yeah. He's
got a poker face.
He's just an enigma, that guy. Go-to karaoke song.
Brilliant.
Oh, he is, but go-to
karaoke. Oh. Where's that come from? That's a good question.
From Mr. Pickering himself again. He's just firing away loads.
Oh, well, in which case, it's Baby Lasagna.
Oh, Baby Lasagna. Everybody do the Baby Lasagna. Racing Lines has got a good one here. Racing Lines has got favourite Formula E race.
Oh. I have 2. One is Cape Town last season was phenomenal. And also, and I always forget the year, I want to say Paris 2019, but I think it's the wrong year. It's the year when it had loads of rain and there was one corner where everyone just kept sliding off.
Yes, and that was where Lotterer smashed into the back of Bird on the final lap of the race. Yes, I remember this
I thought
race.
Robin Frines won that race.
It was Frines won the race. You're right, Frines won the race. Sandberg.
Was that 2019? Was it 2019?
I remember because I spoke to Daniel Abt. I spoke to Robin Friends. Yeah, Robin Friends won that race.
That's
Robin
gonna annoy
Friends
me.
won that race.
Can someone put in the
100%.
comments? Was that
100%.
Was that 2019?
It must be. It must have been one of the last. It was the last. It was season 5, so that was the last Paris E-Prix. Sure, season 5 was the last Paris E-Prix.
So it was 2019
So
because
2019,
2020 obviously was season
COVID,
6,
and it was
yeah.
gone.
So 2019. So yeah, that's those two.
That was the crash. So yeah, I remember I was at that one. I've done.
Yeah.
What race around the world would you want to visit the most? Top of the bucket list. From Lou, that one.
God, I tell you, these questions. There's some journalists in this comment section or something. This is mad. Possibly Le Mans. I don't watch WEC, but I feel like that's one, or the Belgian Grand Prix, and just to watch it from the top of Eau Rouge. So I've never been to an F1 race. I've always said. So the last race I actually went to as a fan, per se, was DTM at Brands Hatch in 2013 or 2012, I think it was, because at that point you were David Coulthard there, you had Ralph Schumacher, and that was my last event as a fan. I always said that from then on, any racing event I go to will be through work, mainly because they're just so expensive to go to as a fan.
Yep.
So yeah, if money was endless, either Bathurst actually is up there as well.
12-hour. Yeah, 12-hour race.
Yeah. We'll go Belgian Grand Prix.
Oh, nice. I did that 22. Saz has got a cool one. She's got a couple of cool ones here. So the first one is, what rule would you add to Formula E?
Oh God, what rule would I? Is Jeff Dodds watching?
Maybe not, but he might see it.
Make sure what I can say. Oh. So what these questions are unreal. What rule would I introduce? You know what? I don't.
We can come back to that one. See if you can come back to it, because her next one is brilliant. Favorite word in any language?
Priboratel.
What language?
That's Russian for teacher.
Russian
for teacher. So my fiance is Russian. I had Russian lessons for the best part of 2 years, but when the whole stuff started, obviously I can't talk about it. Obviously my lessons stopped because it just wasn't possible. And my favorite word, because it just sounded nice to say, was pripodovatel, which is teacher in Russian. Pripodovatel.
Pripodovatel. That's interesting. I like that one.
Thank you very much.
So, city.
Come back to the rule.
City where you had the least amount of struggles from Nikki.
Oh my God. I'll be honest with you, I don't think there's any city I've been to where I've not had a struggle. Like, just going this year alone, Germany, Croatia lost Eurovision. That was a massive struggle on my behalf. Monaco, I was sick. Misano, I got a bus with school children. That sounds really wrong, but it was horrible. It was just weird. 7:30, and it was the bus. I got on it, didn't realise it was the school bus. That was fun. And then one race I've not had. Genuinely, I don't think there is one that I can think of.
And then
in the last,
I think we've got one more question, and
London.
I've lost it.
To be fair, London. In all fairness,
where have you experienced the worst weather?
Wow! Oh, the worst weather.
I'm trying to think myself.
Oh, worst weather.
Get some bad rainstorms in England.
I've been in some bad weather. So I was in a snowstorm in Canada skiing, and it got down to like minus 32.
Wow.
That was quite scary actually, because everything went really, really dark.
So I've never experienced experienced more than like minus.
There was
10.
somewhere I had where the rain was so heavy. I was driving and it weren't. These questions. I think this is making me think. Yeah, we'll say that. I'm still thinking about the rule, to be honest. That's a
one to grow on. That is maybe
phenomenal.
one to
that's a phenomenal question.
I'm gonna write that down. Just
one rule.
If we come back to it, because
one rule
to add to Effie. I'm writing it down. Right. So let's Nick at 9. I think that was a successful Nick at 9. Everybody, I think that was a very successful Nick
That was
at 9.
good fun. I enjoyed
Good
that
fun.
one.
Well done
this
for the
rule
question.
thing's going to bug me though.
Well done for the questions,
that was,
though.
that
This was the
awesome,
best
guys.
Nick at 9 section
Ooh.
ever, says Saz.
No, I'm sorry, Berlin. That video thing was brilliant because I watched it as I landed in Stansted. I loved that, and the thing that was funniest was the height difference.
Yeah, we know. I said this to you when we were doing it. I said the height difference is just a joke. But then Jermaine Genus and Alan McNish and Karun Chandok, like Karun Chandok and Alan McNish is smaller than me pretty much, and they've got Jermaine Genus, so it's hilarious, I suppose. But they do like a wider.
This rules annoy me. Oh God, rule. That's honestly, that's a question I want to ask drivers when I interview them. So I will credit you. That's
a good one. Right, should we take some more callers?
Amazing. Yes, go for it because my mind is now.
We'll take some more callers. So
we need a 4.5.
I wanted to speak to Martin, but he's muted. I could try and bring him in. They're all playing. They're all very much entertaining themselves in the waiting room at the moment. We'll try Martin. He might be able to unmute himself. Martin, can you hear us? We've dragged you in to the main bar. You are currently muted, so you will have to unmute yourself. If not, we will try and grab someone else in. Because I wanted to speak to you, Martin. Doesn't look like he's unmuting himself at this precise moment. So, we will take Natalie.
Martin,
hold on. Martin, can you hear us? Okay. Martin, I'm going to just tell you now, because you joined our Discord a bit earlier, if you are struggling, go to your user settings and then voice and video, and then you just need to make sure what your microphone is selected. We will come back to you, okay? We will come back to you. But just ask Ed in the waiting room, and he will help you further. So we'll put Martin back in the waiting room. He looks like he's very close. We'll try Natalie. I think I had Natalie. We're going to bring Natalie in. Hello, Natalie. Hello. Welcome to the FE bar. I think everyone's having a very good time. I know. It looks like everyone's having a great time in the waiting room, but at the same time,
I know there's a show that needs doing. I am aware.
We need to speak to you too. What do you want to talk about in terms of Shanghai?
How did Pascal not get a penalty?
Okay. I knew this was going to come back. Go on. Why do you think he should have got a penalty? We'll have this discussion.
He clearly skipped the corner, led the race for 2 corners, and it was a clear advantage gained.
From the replays, I don't know if you've had a chance to have a look at it again, though, but Mitch Evans did kind of take the sort of normal racing line. So where could have Pascal gone?
There is that as well.
Do you think Mitch left enough room for Pascal?
There was a clear visible gap, but whether that was enough, I don't know really.
Because the stewards deemed that, he didn't gain an advantage, so we were assuming that he didn't gain an advantage from, so they obviously don't think he gained an advantage. Do you think if he'd won the race, he would have got a penalty? Do you think maybe because Evans did manage to find his way round that was enough?
This is the thing you've got to ask yourself. Because Mitch retook the lead 2 corners later, is that gaining an advantage, or gaining an advantage and then letting Mitch take the position back? Because if you don't, you're going to get penalised for it.
True.
If you know what I mean.
Interesting.
What did you make of the races though themselves? Because I suppose I don't know. For me, I didn't think it was a penalty because one, I felt like it sorted itself out. Because and two, I don't think there was enough racing room. I think Evans, because he cut the track, it felt like penalty was going to be given, right? But then I think if you watch it back again on the replays and even on the highlights, it's on the highlights. And when I watched it back, I was like, yeah, you know what? I just think I slowed it down, paused it, and I was like, I don't think Evans actually gave him enough room. And if he'd won the race, I think it would have been more contentious. And because he did cut the track he maybe should have given it back. So then you would say he deserves a penalty, and in that case, then I would agree. but I think because roles were reversed, I think Evans got in front in the end, and then basically the right result happened. So you could argue that maybe that's why he didn't get a penalty. But I don't know if that's the correct way to look at things, if that makes sense.
It does make sense, and thinking about it, I'd have to agree with you. Because Mitch overtook 2 corners later.
Yeah.
It wasn't a clear advantage gain.
It was 2 laps later.
I do think, though, had, for example, Mitch not overtaken Pascal, then I think, it would have been a very, very different story, because then he would have effectively won the race after overtaking a driver off the circuit. So I think that's the big thing, is the fact that Mitch still won in the end. Had he not, then I think, it would have... Then the results would have taken longer than 17 hours to come out officially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They had a glitch in the steward's room as well, so that's why they took so long.
Well,
go
on.
The reason why...
It's about Roland and Vern.
So the reason why it took... So Roland was under investigation for forcing Vern off the track. It was judged as no further action, and everyone thought that was it. DS Penske then appealed to the FIA because apparently Oliver Rowland, in an interview, had said he forced Vern off the track. However, so the FIA wanted to see this footage. The problem is, though, the people that had the footage left the track, which is why they couldn't get access to the video to then reinvestigate the penalty. They had to wait for them to come back to the track Sunday morning, then have a look at it, and then obviously rule it. So it was a technical problem, technically, but it was actually a case of the people with the footage just went home, and I guess nobody knew where they lived.
Yeah.
Can you imagine someone from the FIA just knocks on your door? Hi, have you got the footage, please? I was going to go for a shower, mate. That's I think it's brilliant, to be honest.
No.
So that's why it took so long.
Yeah, that too. Natalie, do you have a dumb moment for us to add to our championship? A moment where you've gone, oh my god, I cannot believe we've done this. We need to get to a 4.5, so the crazier the better.
If it's more than a 4, you take the lead for the championship.
I do embroidery and cross stitching, so I use needles quite a lot.
Yep.
I'd finished with a bit of thread, cut it off, and unbeknownst to me, the needle got caught in my duvet cover, in my mattress cover. Went to pull my trouser sleeve down, put my leg on the bed, the needle got caught in my leg, cut my leg, made it bleed.
Oh. Did it hurt? Was it painful?
Was
it like
plasters on it?
I don't think that's dumb. That just sounds painful.
Oh, it's a mistake. It's one of those like silly mistakes where you're just like, oh, you weren't. It's like me earlier. You weren't thinking. You weren't thinking.
It's
and you did something.
It's dumb. It's dumb, but it just sounds painful. I'll be honest. I don't think it's a 4. I think it's a 3. Is a 3 being a 3 might be too kind, you know. I'm being harsh on this because I don't want to tell my story.
He doesn't want to tell the story.
You know what? I'll go for a 3. Okay, it sounded painful, and I want to, look consoling. So we'll say a 3.
We'll go for a 3.
And then another dumb moment.
Oh god, because you got another one. Go on then.
I was roller skating in 2016.
Yep.
Fell over.
Yep.
Didn't realise I'd rolled my ankle and broke it in 3 places.
Oh, so what? So wait. So when did you notice that you broke your ankle?
When I couldn't put my foot down in the first aid room.
So wait, hold on. So
why wasn't that your dumb story?
Yeah. Wait,
you've said yours now. It's on the championship table. We can't take it back. No do-overs.
No do-overs. Nick was worried that he thinks that's nearly a 4.5. Wait, I want to know.
For those who are coming on, you need to think about your stories. If you've got multiple, you've got to go for the strongest. This is important stuff.
It's true. I want to know. So what I want to know is, so how long was it from the first aid room? Did you walk? Did you try and walk? What happened?
I tried to walk. Couldn't walk. Came home. We went to McDonald's for lunch. Couldn't eat.
You managed to get to McDonald's?
Priority.
So hold on. Doesn't matter about my foot. As long as I get my Mackies in, we're okay.
They've got a new McFlurry.
Get that Biscoff McFlurry down me.
Couldn't eat most of it because I was in so much pain I thought I was going to puke.
Oh.
It was
That's unreal.
7 hours
You know
later,
what?
eventually got myself to A&E
Wow.
by force of my grandparents.
Wow.
And they were
I'll
like,
be honest.
yeah, you broke it, we need to operate.
Oh my god.
Operate.
Yeah.
Natalie, where was this story first?
That
This
was
had
that,
4.5
that had
written all
4
over it, but it doesn't count.
doesn't count.
No.
Oh, Natalie. That's a great story,
no,
though.
do worry. I'm being harsh.
He's
That's
being-
an amazing story.
He's being harsh.
I mean,
right.
thank you for sharing, but it doesn't count.
Right. Natalie, we're going to have to let you go because the switchboard is getting packed again. So thank you so much for coming on.
All right.
Right. Have a great evening. I'll
Good night,
call you
Natalie.
back.
You
right.
too.
Let's try Martin again. I have no idea. Actually,
was
no,
that story
Chester.
not first?
Chester's going to come back, and I'm going to try and establish
Oh, Natalie.
if Martin is working. So we'll grab Chester in. Chester, hello. Welcome to the FE bar again. How are you?
Doing good.
Hello.
Doing good. Doing good. What do you want to talk about in terms of the Shanghai E-Prix?
Andretti, I'm sad.
Jake Dennis. Should we talk about Jake Dennis then? Because we haven't talked about Jake. Is his title over? Is it over? Is it done?
Hopefully not. Hopefully Portland brings a good result. I think it's over though. It's like 60 points now.
Yeah, it's. Did you think there was any hope coming from Berlin? Because obviously, I suppose Norman Nato did do a good job. So I suppose there's some small silver lining for Andretti. But did you think there was any hope coming from Berlin that maybe they'd fix some of their issues? Because their qualifying, I suppose, wasn't spectacular in Shanghai.
Yeah, no, I was hoping because I think they got pole in the second race with Dennis. If I remember correctly. I forgot. They got up into the duels and stuff. They got pretty high up and then they did decent in the race. So I thought they would get better. But no, they were just kind of like, I guess Nato got the podium, but Dennis was just kind of in the midfield or in the back, really, of the points in the second race. So it's really hard to watch, especially how Andretti, as like a team, has been doing this weekend. Not even in FE.
Yeah, I suppose it didn't go well for them in Indy either. Nick, anything to say?
I mean, obviously you say it's unlikely now. Where do you think Jake's lost this championship? Where do you think it's gone wrong?
I think it's over the season. I just think the consistency hasn't been there throughout the entire season. They've just kind of been behind Porsche and Jaguar, especially Jaguar. They've come up much stronger throughout the season, especially here at Shanghai and Berlin. They were very strong.
It's really interesting because actually when you think about it, what Nick's doing this season with the really consistent podiums is almost an exact replica of what Jake did last year. So it's really interesting how the championship looks like it's going to be won in the exact same style.
Yeah, just sadly Dennis isn't in that fight this year, from what it seems like.
Where do you think he can finish then? How high do you think he's going to get?
High, I think, like, if I'm correct, like around like 60 points behind, I think, the leader, like Cassidy right now.
Yep.
So maybe he can still finish in the top three. That would need to have some pretty like bad luck from either like Mitch or Roland or Warline or whatever.
The thing is, he's good at London, so I suppose if he can try and do his best, even if they have a bad qualifying and he can get to the front, he's been a bit of a master at London, so therefore there may be he might be able to pull something out of the bag in London, but it depends on how his Portland is.
If Cassidy's teammates wants to him again in the first race of the weekend, that would help.
Yeah.
Qualifying's quite with Jake though. Qualifying's quite an interesting thing that you just brought up because obviously Andretti have had these qualifying problems all season. Then we got to Berlin race 2 and it looked like they'd solved it. Come Shanghai race 1, it was awful again. But then Shanghai race 2, Norman Nato had an amazing qualifying. Jake again really struggled. What do you think has been their problem with qualifying?
It's probably just something to do with the setup and getting comfortable with it. It just doesn't seem they're pretty comfortable with the car as it is as of now. Plus, I'm pretty sure in Berlin, didn't they exchange data with Porsche or whatever during the second round or whatever, which could have.
I think they did for the Sunday's race.
Yeah, and then they immediately were up there with the rest of them and got the pole for the second round in Berlin. But then in Shanghai, they come without data, and then they're just kind of on the back foot again.
Interesting. Chester, do you have a dumb moment for us? A moment where you think, I can't believe I've done that. Like,
Ended out.
So we were talking earlier. So we've had some in the chat earlier where we just had Natalie who broke. Well, I can't remember her original one now. It was not as good as the second one.
The original was not good.
The original was not good enough. But then she said that she rolled her ankle, broke it in 3 places, and didn't realise and went from McDonald's.
Nikki
Hospital.
fell over the same thing twice.
Nikki fell over the same thing twice. Blake's was good.
Blake lost his keys. Blake lost
his keys.
And Chris was so bad. I'll be honest, I have completely forgotten.
Chris.
No, it was the early flight.
The early flight. So is there a moment
there
where
is a
you've gone?
Ship going on.
There is. So we need to get to 4.5. Then Nick's gonna say his crazy dumb moment. If you can give us a 4.5 star rating, do you have I can't believe I did that moment?
I sprained my ankle crossing the street. I don't know.
How did you sprain your ankle crossing the street?
That's really it.
How did you do that? Well, just walking.
So I was crossing the street. Yeah, just walking with a friend. We walked across the street, and I guess my leg just didn't work. So I stepped on it sideways, and I put like all my weight onto it, stepping down, and it hurt a lot.
I love the way you just said that though. My leg didn't work.
my leg just decided
what happened to it?
It's gonna stop.
Did it just decide to stop for 30 seconds?
That's crazy.
I've had enough today.
So you've rolled your foot basically. That's what you've done. You've just walking in a straight line, and you know where you just roll. You know when you roll your foot on your shoe just like accidentally.
Yeah, and I put like all my weight onto it, and it hurt for like. I'd stung a bunch, but then it went away, and then like an hour later, it just started like massively hurting, and I was like, I need to go to the ER because it's not stopping. And they said like, yeah, you sprained your ankle.
Oh, so a
Did
rating.
I wore like
sprained just walking across the road.
I was on like crutches for like a week.
And you sprained your ankle on crutches. So I think a 3.5.
Yeah, well, I was on crutches for like a week.
I think it's a 3.5.
Yeah, I think it's more on the clumsy side than dumb.
Yeah.
It's the fact you're literally crossing a street and you're
just walking. You forgot how to walk for 2 seconds. And my leg stopped working.
I think all my weight on one foot.
And you know what the problem is? He's in America. So do you have medical insurance? Like how much did that cost you?
How much?
Yeah.
How much did that mistake cost you? That could make you okay. That's good. Because imagine that cost you 50.
I didn't fracture anything. I just like tore. I just tore like the tendon in my foot, whatever.
Imagine
it's still quite serious.
Imagine.
I didn't fully tear it. Like
it's just a tendon.
Yeah, mate. How did you do it? I was just walking across the street, doctor, and I put my leg just stopped working. Yeah, that'll be $8,000, please.
It's a 3.5. Go on.
No, that's fine.
Honestly, well, it's a.
I was saying we have insurance, so it's not expensive.
So thank God.
We're not in debt.
But it's a 3.5. I don't think it's quite as good as Blake's 3.5, but you're into 3rd place, so
well done. Good story. Thank you, Chester. Thank you so much for coming on. It means the world.
See you later.
See you later.
Yeah, hopefully we'll do better at Portland and Detroit next week.
Good.
Portland, like,
are you going to Portland?
No, sadly not. Can't. I'm halfway across the country.
He's on the other side. So he's done New York. You've done New York, haven't you, Chester?
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. So he's more on New York side, other side. God, remember how big America is. Right, Chester, thank you so much. We'll put you back in the waiting room. We're going to try Martin. Apparently he's working, so let's have a go. Martin, can you hear us? Can we hear you, more importantly? Oh, no. Hello, Martin. Voice to
Hi, how are you
Martin!
doing?
How are you? Welcome to the FE Bar. Pleasure to have you on.
My pleasure. Thank you very much.
What would you like to say about the Shanghai E-Prix?
Well, first of all, forgive me for my light Argentinian accent.
It's okay. It's wonderful.
Thank you. I could speak about a lot of things, but I will leave time for the rest and speak about the two things. The first of all is obviously the peloton racing, which is, I think it's a must, because we need to have a variety of scenarios for the cars and the drivers to show themselves, but we have too many now. And I understand the safety issues that force Formula E into going to actual race circuits, but maybe we could either give more energy to the cars or do shorter races or whatever to have races that are actual races, the whole race, not only the last 30 minutes.
Yeah, that's the only interesting break with the peloton, because Martin, like, I looked at the race time again. It was only what was Shanghai? It was 36 minutes, Nick. Right?
Yeah, is that what
Yeah,
it
was
was?
36 minutes that the race was. I thought it was longer. It felt longer. But
Felt
when
longer.
when I looked at the race time, it was only 36 minutes. So Martin, like, I get it. But do you feel like we need? You say shorter races, but the races are already short. Like for me, we had 45 minutes plus 1 lap races.
You're right.
So 36 minutes is already
You're
short,
right.
surely.
You're right, but then maybe they need to be allowed more energy.
What do you think
so we
of
can
that,
see
Nick?
more race.
What do you think? Because again, I think it was, what was it, 36 kilowatts? I can't remember off the top of my head. Oh no, I had it down. It was in the 30s. I'm sure it was in the 30s, the amount of kilowatt hour power they use. And they can have 52, which is the max of the battery. Is that something that maybe Formula E should look into, giving them a bit more power? But then you get more flat-out races. But I suppose a flat-out race at Shanghai is not the end of the world because you've got space to overtake.
Yeah, that's not bad. We could see now, you can see that this way, the capabilities of the drivers themselves, because they will be able to show it if they have enough energy. But now they cannot do it, not enough at least.
Yeah, indeed.
So I think you do have too many of them.
It was 38.5 kilowatts they were allowed. Pico just text me, so thank you very much for Pico. I knew it was in the 30s. What do you think, Nick? Do you think they should have a bit more power? A bit more battery energy usage?
It's a hard one, though, because if you give the batteries more usage, and it's also going to cause more wear on the batteries, and especially when it's really, really hot like it was in Shanghai. Like the Sunday was 34 degrees, and that's in the air temperature. So the circuit was probably 50 to 60. If the batteries had more, if more energy was allowed, then that's going to lead to battery failures, perhaps. Who knows? It's a hard one because something. Okay, I'll throw it back to you, Martin, and also to those who are watching. We say obviously, shorter races are perhaps maybe a little bit better, but how long do you think a Formula E race should be?
I think it should be at least 40, 45 minutes. I think 45 minutes would be a good race if we could reach it.
Yeah, agreed.
I agree.
But I think the whole battery issue lead us to something deeper in Formula E, because the philosophy of going as cheap as you can to make it easy on the teams has a price, and the price is that you cannot buy more batteries. You cannot look out to buy your own batteries and maybe get better one, because it will rise the cost for the teams. And now it's a trade-off. We are now on the side of the trade-off that to make it cheaper for the team, we are losing in the raceability.
Yeah. That's an interesting
And I think it's time. It's time for the management of Formula E to make some decisions and think whether this philosophy is good for the long run or not.
Well, let's see what happens with Gen 3.5. Perhaps that might improve things. Who knows?
And then Gen 4 as well. So hopefully by the time we get to
Yeah,
Gen 4, that could change some things as well. I think the lack of attack charge. I don't know, Nick, if you'd agree. Maybe if attack charge even comes in next season, do we still get a peloton style race even with attack charge?
Probably. I don't think attack charge is going to change too much. The only thing it's going to do is shaft over one driver in every team. Whoever doesn't pit first is then just going to be screwed. But with attack charge, it's so hard to say anything until we actually see it in a race. Then we can judge it and pull it apart and criticize it or praise it. Who knows? But I think the thing that's really interesting for me is the race distance, because it's about finding the same with the lap counts. It's about finding the right balance, both for the cars and the technology, but also for the fans, because how long should the race be to ensure that fans are getting their money's worth?
Yeah.
If the race is 36 minutes long, is that enough? Is that a long enough race for the fans, given the price they've paid? If it was any shorter, if I was a fan, I'd be a bit annoyed to be going to a race just for a 30-minute race. So that's another thing they've got to consider is that entertainment.
Totally.
That's Australian.
Yeah, the entertainment
The
factor.
entertainment point of view.
Yeah, 100%. That's my thing. And for me was when I said earlier, Martin, like the 45-minute plus one lap we used to have in Gen 2. But we can't. We've gone up a generation, but we can't seem to have a 45-minute race at specific circuits, which I think sends a bad message out. Also, I want to talk about, if we can, Martin. What did you make of FP1 when we had that stoppage, with the 5 cars coming to a stop? What did you make of that?
I actually didn't see that, so I can't comment something intelligent enough.
Fair enough.
Another thing I would like to speak about is Mitch and Cassidy.
Yep, go for it.
Yeah, on one side, I feel as like on Saturday, Cassidy should have been allowed to try and overtake because he had more energy.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we should be able to also understand the team, because when you allow, even if it's just an organized swap, it's a risk. Because imagine you have Roland on one side and Verlaine on the other, and they are both looking at it and looking for this opportunity to maybe have a mistake while doing the swap and abuse it, So it's a risk for the team.
No, I get that fully. I fully get that. If it went wrong, then obviously Cassidy could have lost a couple more places. Martin, we're a little bit pushed for time. It's been an absolutely amazing call.
Thank you very much.
Martin, I don't want to get rid of you just yet, because
you're right.
Yeah, come on. Is there a moment where you've gone?
Yes.
I can't believe I've just done that. I can't believe I've done that. What was I thinking? Have you got a crazy moment for us?
Yeah, I don't know if it's that crazy, but damn surely. When I was much younger, I used to live in an apartment with a couple of young ladies a bit older than me and more responsible. And it was those old apartments when you walk out the door, and if you close it, that's it. It doesn't open. You need a key.
Yeah.
You'll do. And after a few times, it happened to me, and I had to either wait for them, and they were either home or not. They hide a key for me outside, specifically for me, because I was the only one forgetting the key. Now, one day I forgot it, so I took the hidden key. I went inside, left the key, and went outside again. I was left without the keys. So we were on the top apartment, right below the ceiling. If they had some kind in there you can crawl into.
Yep.
So I asked I asked some neighbor to help me get up on the ceiling, and I went up, and then went in again in the apartment through a very small hole between the boiler and some wall there that I found. All, of course, in the darkness, couldn't see anything, just tapping until I found something, and fell in from the ceiling straight into the bathroom.
No.
Because that was the only way I could get in.
You fell through the ceiling.
But I learned my lesson then. Yeah, that was the only way I could get in.
Oh my God, he's falling through the ceiling, Nick. He's falling through the ceiling. Nick's standing up. That's got to be a 4.5. That's unreal.
Yeah, on the way I step on the closet of one of the girls. Really close. With all the dirt that came from the ceiling. But they forgave me. But I learned my lesson. I didn't do it again.
You never forgot that key ever again.
You know what? Hold on. I've got a correction to make. It's not a 4.5. That's a 5.
It's a 5. Oh, that's the best story. That's unreal. He fell through the ceiling.
Oh, that's brilliant.
In the dark.
I mean,
the shock.
that's both.
That's
it's top of
unreal.
the championship. So it's
That's
top of the
unreal.
championship. It's good news for you. It's bad news for me.
It's bad news. Martin, you've been an absolute
Oh,
pleasure.
no.
An amazing first-time caller. Can't wait to have you back.
Amazing.
Thank you very much.
No worries. Right, we'll talk to
Good
you.
night, Martin.
Pleasure.
Good night.
Bye-bye. Good night.
That is terrible for you, mate. That is what a story. What a story.
Well,
Right.
when it comes into the show, is that what we're going to end with? My story.
Yeah, we'll have
Last
to.
thing.
We'll have to.
All right, cool.
So
But
that's
we still need the
endings.
rest of the stories. This doesn't
Right.
mean the stories are over, though.
Doesn't mean the
because we've
stories
got
are
a
over.
champion-
Come on.
We've got a championship
we've
to
got-
fill. As things stand, Chris is still last on one.
So yeah, Chris is still last on one. Right, let's get Ryan in. We're gonna get Ryan in. I'm in quick fire because we've got Saz is in. There's loads of people that want to come on. Ryan, hello, welcome to the FE bar. Do you have a story? Oh, Nick, he's gone. He's decided he. Okay.
I was saying he's gone. That's why I said,
Oh! I don't know. No, he's gone. Right, he's gone. Put the phone.
there's Sad, there's Helen.
He's put the phone down. Who
We have the other Chris.
We haven't had the other. I'm gonna keep. Let's. Well, they're deafened, so I'm gonna go. So they won't be able to hear us even if I put them in.
Okay.
So
This is new to me.
I have asked them to be undeafened, but
Okay.
they are still not. So we'll
I reckon Helen's got a good story too.
Chris, I hear you have a story for us.
Hi, Chris.
Hello.
Hello.
Are we just saying the story?
Well, unless
I
you
mean-
want to bring something up from Shanghai, but I know you messaged saying that you had a crazy story that you
No,
wanted to tell us.
I don't really have anything to say on Shanghai, to be fair, other than it was better than usual. I don't really need to say the story now that Nick has to say his, but I'll say it anyway.
We do need to
No, you
because
need
we've
to.
got
There's
the
a championship. So you
championship.
Could, if we could maybe
Oh.
put you 5 stars and plus maybe. Maybe there's a
Yeah.
5-star plus or something like that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it was Halloween. I was out, obviously. Got absolutely hammered. Must have got kicked out the club, I assume. And
What
then
for? Oh, they have no recollection.
I don't remember being in the club.
Fair enough. But you know there was a club involved. So this is bad. This is going to be good. Our first alcohol one. Right. Come on then.
But anyway, so I somehow made it home. But when I got home, I thought I lost my keys. So I was knocking on my door, hoping someone would wake up, and no one was waking up. So it was a good hour I was knocking on my door for.
Was it the right house?
It was the right house. Don't worry, it was the right
I was
house.
waiting for that bombshell.
It was the right house, but I was knocking so hard that my knuckles started bleeding. So I blood. I woke up in the morning. There was blood on the door.
Wait, did you not make
anyway,
it inside the
'cause
door? Hold on. Did you sleep
blood
outside?
on the door.
Did you sleep outside?
No, well, you'll wait.
Okay, go on.
So I suddenly thought, oh, it's freezing. I've got to do something about this. So for some stupid reason, this stupid idea came into my head. I thought, why don't I try and knock on the neighbour's door?
Oh no. Oh no.
What time of night is
Well,
this?
Like 4, 5 in the morning.
Okay. Keep going.
With
keep
your
going.
bleeding
With
knuckle.
your bleeding knuckles.
Yeah, with my bleeding knuckle. They must have thought I must have been in a fight. I didn't even get in a fight. I wouldn't get in a fight. But anyway. They obviously told me. I don't know what I said. But I assume they told me to go.
Go away. Go away. Go,
Go away.
Yeah.
And then, so I thought, I can't just stay up. I can't sleep. So my flat last year, like first year flatmates, half of them were in the other side of York. So I ended up walking to theirs. Good half an hour walk. Got there 6 o'clock in the morning. Woke them up. Slept on their couch. And then I said to them when I got in, "Does this music following?" Well, this is the other thing. I thought I lost my phone. I thought I lost my wallet. Didn't. But I said to them when I got in, "Does this music following me?" My phone was playing music and I thought I lost it.
Where was your music was just your phone was just playing music non-stop, and you just had
Yeah.
no idea.
You had tunes the entire time.
Tunes the entire. No wonder why they told you to go away.
The club went with you.
The club went
Yeah,
with you.
exactly. Oh, I
I mean,
can't
that
believe.
was a. You took me on a journey there.
Oh, that's not
That's-
even the whole thing that happened. No, I'm not
Oh,
saying
still-
anything
oh,
else.
God.
But
There's still more.
no, that was just stuff that happened before that was embarrassing, but not. I'm not saying.
No, that's fine. It's a good story though.
But yeah.
It's
Oh,
a
I
good
mean-
story. What's that? I think a 4.
I think a 4, but the question is though, is it better or worse than Nicky's 4? Nick, is it better than falling
Oh.
over Nicky twice?
Yeah. Oh, I don't know.
I could add to it, make it worse. The neighbours came
Is it
round the
safe?
next morning. Yes, it's safe. Don't worry. The neighbours
Okay.
came round the next morning and threatened to call the police.
Police involved is above Nicky. I'm sorry, Nicky. It
There
was
we go.
hilarious.
There we go. It was
Police
hilarious.
involved here.
I can't
I mean-
believe that happened.
Brilliant. Oh, that was a good story. That was a very, very, very good story. The music is following me. It's brilliant. The music is following me.
Do you remember what song it was?
No, I don't remember. Obviously not.
Oh, brilliant stuff.
God knows how much I did that night. Oh.
Perfect. Oh,
Anyway.
perfect. Chris, thank you so much.
Story.
Great story. I love
Alright, thanks.
I love how this show has just become it's hilarious. That's what I love. That's why I love this show. Saz is available, so we get Saz in. Super Saz. Super Saz. Hello. Welcome to the FE bar. How
Hey, how's
are
it
you?
going?
Oh, it's going very well, Super Saz.
I'm shiny.
You're
except-
perfect.
Hang on, can you say that again? Now I can hear you.
Perfect. How I called you Super Saz. You said you're shiny, so that was even a great start. I wish
That's the important thing.
I might clip that up every time something's good, we just go, it's shiny. What do you want to talk about Shanghai, and do you have a funny I can't believe I did that moment story?
I do, but it's not a winner.
It's not a winner.
It's midfield.
Midfield. Go on, tell us.
Oh,
We're still
well,
interested.
Hold on. We will be the judge. Of
Yeah,
this.
we will be the judge.
Ooh, get you a FIA.
I mean,
He's got the
it's even
jacket
the right
on.
colour for the FIA, actually.
He's got the jacket on. He could have the FIA logo on it.
Okay, so next time I come on, I've got to have a blazer. I get this. Blazers
The
are
rules
power.
are the rules.
Fair enough. I can also talk about the Shanghai E-Prix,
You
but
can.
now I'm thinking about blazers. But yeah, my story is, so I was at my friend's house. We were having a barbecue. I was helping her get ready before all our friends came over. So she said, "Oh, put some music on, ready for the party." Put some music on, started dancing with a 2-litre bottle of lemonade round the kitchen like you do.
Was it
Put
definitely
all the
lemonade
food on
inside
the
it?
table.
Crazy.
I know, absolutely crazy. Totally forgot I'd shaken the lemonade up, opened it, and you know champagne spikes on the podium.
Yep.
Pretty much did that, but all over our food.
Oh, the barbecue. Barbecue's ruined. You've ruined the barbecue.
Was the food still eaten?
Like, sorry?
Did you still eat the food?
Yes and no, because some of it I could just like hide, and some of it and then other parts of it was like, oh, that is ruined. And then a few friends came who were already slightly drunk, and I'm like, take these.
I think the lemonade would have just like enhanced the flavour.
A lemonade burger.
Sweet and salty.
You can have a lemon burger. You can have a lemon burger.
Wait,
lemon's great in
burger.
food.
You said you tried to hide the food. Where did you try to hide it?
Well,
That's
like,
the point.
well, some of the ones that like the burgers or the meat that was on top, I just put it more to the bottom of the plates. We were
Oh, so
doing
there
it
was
like
no,
buffet style.
Yeah.
There were pets involved. Like, oh no, quick, don't eat this.
Eat this.
Hide the evidence.
I mean, the dogs came later and they probably did eat some of it, but it's whatever.
That's a good story.
There weren't
though.
enough dogs at the time that I could just hide an entire barbecue worth of lemonade-covered food.
Where did the food go? I don't know. The dog ate it.
It's a good
It's a good
story.
story. 3.5 or 4?
I think. Nah, it's
Yeah.
not
You've ruined the
4.
whole barbecue.
3.75.
You've ruined the whole barbecue, though.
Blake's keys were brilliant.
Yeah,
I think we'll go 3.5. Is it better than Chester spraining his ankle in the street?
That's just. I don't know.
I mean, can I have like a 3.5 point something? Because I like odd numbers.
3.3. I don't know. 3.53.
I'll give you a 3.51.
Oh, nice.
3.52 in the middle. Work with me, guys.
As you asked so nicely, a 3.54.
Hey!
British buys in the FIA. Love it.
We love that. We love that. Saz, thank you so much for coming on. I think Helen is available, so we're going to try to see if Helen's got a story. But Saz, thank you so much for coming on.
No worries.
Yeah.
So that's as.
Right, Helen.
Stay away from the lemonade.
Stay away from the lemonade. Yeah, terrible.
Yeah.
Helen.
I fancy lemonade now.
Oh, Helen. Hello. You're on the
Hello.
FE bar.
Hello.
We've dragged you in. Would you like to talk about the Chinese E-Prix? I might as well call it Chinese E-Prix. It's still technically true. Or have you got a dumb story for us that you would like to share with the world?
A little bit of both, really. I just wanted to touch on the chaos that was at the very start of the practice session when
Yeah,
all
go
5
on.
cars just randomly conked out. That is one of the most bizarre things that I've ever seen. And apparently it was related to a software update that they did on the batteries.
Yeah.
Did they not test any of that stuff before it went? Did they not test anything? That's crazy.
Whether they tested or not, I can't confirm. They did WAE, obviously, who supply the batteries and produce them. They did a software update on all the cars after Berlin, so before Shanghai. From what I've been told, the 6 drivers that stopped all were the only 6 to go full throttle. And as soon as they went full throttle, for some reason that triggered some bug or something which caused them to stop. So what then happened is they then reverted all the cars to the previous update, which meant they're all okay. But I agree with you, it's one of the weirdest things I've seen, not only in Formula E, but probably in motorsport, just across the board.
Yeah, because the first, obviously, I would be listening to Dan's team radio because I always do.
Yeah.
But
he was brilliant.
So that was the first kind of instance, and he's saying, "Oh, I've got a problem," and I'm thinking, it's just a problem with his car, like something's gone wrong. And then when I saw on the TV Pascal pulling up alongside of him, and then they sort of panned the screen away a little bit, 3 other cars, somebody else is somewhere else. I was like, this is something really weird. And no one really seemed to know what was going on. They were saying it might have been like a electromagnetic field causing problems. There was all sorts of theories buzzing around at the time. But yeah, I agree. It's one of the strangest things I've seen. Probably not just in Formula E, because there's lots of weird things in Formula E, let's face it. But I can't think of any other instance where I've been so baffled by what was going on.
You
It
think
was
that
bizarre.
Do you think what happened was embarrassing for Formula E? Did he give it a bad look?
I think they were very fortunate in that the time that the session was taking place, there was probably very few people watching it. Otherwise, if it had been a European time and there were a lot of people watching, or there'd been more people there, European, a bigger circuit for Europe or something like that, yes, I think it would have been potentially quite embarrassing. And having to try and explain to people what was going on must have been so strange.
Yeah, definitely.
No, 100%. I remember speaking to Sylvain Filippi about this. Not like this scenario, but he was talking about road cars in the future, and that people would. So say you have an electric car. So what happened in WAE is that the company could do that. And what scared me was imagine if a company does a software update on your car that you've purchased to give you better software, right? Which could happen, and then it doesn't work. Because obviously you'd have to, the car would just know it's a computer, it's a signal, it's been sent, and then you'd just click, install software update, and then all of a sudden you go full throttle and the car doesn't work. This is not a good look for electric vehicles, so that's a tiny scary thing, which what I thought about was that conversation I had with Sylvan a little bit a while ago, which I suppose when you come back to the embarrassment side of things, it's something that electric it can't happen. The software update has to happen and it has to be fully functional. You can't just have cars all of a sudden just stop working.
Yeah, it was embarrassing, to be honest. I was more confused about what was happening than anything, but the confusion was quite entertaining from Dan's radio point of view because he just was asking all sorts of questions. Clearly, the engineer was not gonna have a clue what was happening because they hadn't looked at the data, and he was just getting more and more baffled by the fact that he was being told, "Oh, Pascal's also stopped. She might have the same problem," and then, "Oh, there's 3 other cars have stopped as well." And he's just giggling the whole time, like it was one of the strangest interactions.
Yeah, I can imagine Dan just giggling like, "Oh my god, it's like what is this rubbish?" I can imagine 100% Dan doing that. But anyway, Helen, time is of the essence. So, what is your story for us?
Technically, it's not my story, but I just wanted to tell people who probably don't already know this that some stupid things that Dan's done before, which are Dan struggles.
Oh, right, Dan struggles.
Dan's going on the
Yeah,
championship. Here
Dan's
we
going
go.
in the championship. What's Dan done?
Will he get more
So-
points than he's got in FE?
Let's see.
more than likely, yeah. So one time when he was live streaming during the lockdowns and stuff, he'd ordered some takeaway food because the man doesn't cook apparently, and went downstairs to go and collect it. Left his stream running because he was only going to be away a few minutes. Took his phone with him. Apparently didn't take his key for the flat. Locked himself out of the flat, and the first thing we know is he's been away more than a few minutes. And then we see a little message pop up in the chat. Locked myself out of the flat. Have to run down the road to the letting agents. He physically ran down the road, got a spare key, come back up to let himself back in the flat. And I was like, are you dumb? Like, obviously you need to let yourself back in the flat. So honestly, the man at one point had no forks because he threw all of his forks in the bin because he couldn't be bothered to wash them. Same with spoons. He had no spoons. There was oh no, he had one spoon, sorry. He was trying to eat a pot noodle with a spoon on stream once.
Nice.
And also he broke the one wine glass that he had because he put a plate on top of it in the sink. And then on stream, when it was his birthday, decided to drink a 40 quid bottle of wine out of a mug because the man had no wine glasses.
It's not too bad. Not too
Well,
bad.
yeah.
Not too
but-
bad. What do we make of Dan's
I don't think he's struggled much recently, but that's a couple of years ago.
I did like his "Hello Droid"
Oh,
Instagram
that was
thing.
so funny.
That was pretty good. I must
Like,
admit.
that was so genuinely funny.
What do you think, Dan? What do you think, Nick? I'm gonna be honest. They're dumb. They are dumb.
They're dumb.
It's a 2.5 to 3, I think.
I'm gonna go 2.5.
Yeah, I felt like a 2.5.
It's funny.
It's funny.
It's funny, but it's more dumb than.
Well, it was
It's
dumb.
more just, it's clumsy. Yeah, we're gonna go 2.5. I'm sorry, Dan.
Yeah, that works.
Sorry, Dan.
Well, that's 2.5 points for ERT.
2.5 points. Right.
More than we've had in the last few races, at least.
All right, Helen, we're gonna let you go. Thank you so much for jumping on.
See you later, Helen.
Right, take care, guys.
Right, we've got one more caller to take, and they've just come on, and they're a very good friend to us at Formula Rezone. It is Joe Samdiego from America, from the Grid Network, who is based out in Oregon, in Portland. So we're going to take Joe. Joe, you are muted, just to let you know. But Joe Samdiego from the Grid Network, how are you?
How's it going?
Hey,
I've
Joe.
been well.
It's
Long
good.
time no see.
It's been a long time. Yes, from speaking to each other since the COVID days. What did you make of Shanghai, and have you got a dumb story for us?
I'll start with the dumb story. It's
Yep.
racing related. So
Heads out.
back in Alaska, when I was in college, there was a dirt track, stock car racing. So I got a 77 Pontiac Phoenix, which is similar to a Chevy Nova. That's a 350 Chevrolet engine, but we blew it, so we had to get a new one. So we're putting together this race car. We put the engine in, we strip out everything, And those older cars have that bench front seat where you can fit somebody in the middle.
Okay.
So we start putting the seat in, thinking, okay, we'll put the seat in, and we'll get the engine all bolted in, then we'll test it. So no joke, we're in a dirt road near the place where we got the engine. Me and my college roommate, who has no experience in motorsports, but just came along for the ride just because, like, oh, that's cool, you're building a race car. He hops in. We still haven't welded the door, so he opens the door, shuts it, sits in the bench seat. I sit next to him. Start the engine. It has that 350 Chevy Rumble. So American. It's like, love it. We just slowly cruise up to the road, and then he's like, okay, Joe, floor it. I floor it. And that's when I realized I did not bolted the seat down to the car. So the bench seat just flung us backwards. I lose the steering wheel because I was just holding on, not expecting that to happen. I just remember laying my back, looking up at the ceiling, thinking, this car is just going. I got to try to get to the front as fast as possible. I was just trying to scramble over the seat, grab hold of the steering wheel, looking outside. I was like, oh my God. And we started slowing down. Then it's so awkward trying to drive a car with no seat there. It's like, what the heck do I do? So once we got stopped, it's like, I forgot to bolt the seat down. We turned around, went back, and I was just like, I can't believe I did that. Because I remember thinking, we'll put the seat in, bolt it down, let's get the engine done. Yeah. So that was my dumb story. I don't know where it scores, but I figured, hey, something racing related.
That's a
definitely something to share.
That's a good
racing
one.
related, which I love. Jack, what are you saying?
That's a 4.
You think it's a 4?
You're going to say 3.5.
No, I was contemplating 4.5.
5?
It's racing related, which I really, really like, and it's quite funny.
It is funny.
You've literally forgotten to bolt the seat down. It's like the most important thing.
Yeah, it's a good one. I think it's a 4. I think it's a 4.
Right, if it's a 4 though, is it okay? If it's a 4, where does it rank amongst Nikki's 4 and Chris's 4? This is for the top 3, so this is quite important.
I think it's better than Nikki's 4. I think for the racing element, we'll give it better than Nikki. Chris's 4 though, bloody knuckles.
And music.
Alcohol. Where's the music?
That's my favorite story so far, Chris's. Oh my God.
The music's following me.
You're into 3rd, Joe.
Yeah, 3rd place. Bronze medal. Sneaked
Awesome
in
story.
right at the end.
Oh, sorry, my dog said hi, but
it's all right.
I wanted to share that.
Hello, dog.
And I'll be in Portland, so we'll definitely keep in touch. So y'all take care.
Nick will
see you
be
at
there.
Portland then, Joe.
Nick will be there. So make sure you say hi. Thanks, Joe. Have a great rest of your day, because obviously it's still very early. I suppose what's the time difference? It must only be like 2 o'clock over there. But thank you so much for popping in, and we will see you later. So, Mr. Nick Golding, that is everybody. What a show! What a show we've had, by the way. Yes, I think you should. What a show!
I mean, first, thank you to you for treating me so well. Obviously, Pico, I hope you're feeling better. I hope I've done you proud.
Yeah.
And then thank you everyone for your questions. For the one rule thing is still bugging me.
What rule would you add to
I genuinely don't know.
I'm trying to think of what rule I would add, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's just.
I don't know. I generally don't
One
know.
rule. That's actually an amazing question.
One rule you'd add to Formula E.
I'm actually going to be using it to. I'm actually going to be asking that to drive it. I honestly, I don't know.
I'd add attack mode into a Joker lap. So I'd make attack mode in a Joker lap section.
Yeah, I like that. That's pretty cool. But then you'd have to, with some circuits, that'd be quite difficult.
Yeah, it would
is
be
the
quite
Joker
difficult.
through gravel?
So a Joker lap, maybe only on the circuits that we modify. Maybe those ones would have to have a, because the Shanghai one was pretty rubbish. Or you could you could have had the attack mode, but it's actually a shortcut. So in Shanghai, where
no, we were going to say
turn 6, and then they turn. There's before that.
There's 2. There's one that's short, and there's one which keeps going, and then go. Basically, we use the F1 version, but there's another just before it that's less tight. Yeah. That is annoying me. One rule. I really don't know. What would you think? What do the viewers think?
Right.
Because we're struggling.
Viewers, put your one rule that you'd add to Formula in the chat. Maybe Nick might
I'm gonna look at the comments, 'cause
nagpie
this is-
one of yours. While you go through the championship, and then you've got to tell us your crazy story, my friend.
Yes,
before
so
we
the
go.
championship. So, the first ever official FE Bar Dumb Moments Championship in last place is Chris with 1 point. Do we do a clap or does Chris not deserve it?
Hey, no, that was it.
Is it right? Then in second to last is Dan Tickton with a 2.5.
Well done, Dan. 2.5 claps.
Then we have Natalie on 3.
Oh, that's a
we
tough one.
then have Chester on 3.5. On 3.354 we have Saz.
Ruining the barbecue.
Sorry, 3.534. My bad. We then have Blake, who I also put as 3.5, but his 3.5 was better than Saz and Chester's. But the maths has gone wrong.
3.57.
3.57, there you go. In fourth and just missing out on the podium, but still an amazing story, is Nikki on a 4. We then have Joe on 4. We then have Chris W on 4. And the winner, who has completely screwed me over, is Martin with a perfect 5
Falling
out
through
of
a
5.
ceiling.
Falling through a ceiling. I mean,
After forgetting his key and crawling into a crawl space and then falls through the ceiling. And then something
Does that-
about bumping into one of his gal flatmates. I don't know.
does this mean I've got to tell my story? Doesn't it?
So, what's your story?
All right. Well,
Story time with Nick, everybody, at 10:14
okay. So
p.m.
first things first. Nick struggles. If you're watching this, or for anyone, this does not go on social media, please. So a couple of years ago, for those who are unaware, I am a supporter of Chelsea Football Club. For an entire season, I did every home and away game, which included going to European matches. Chelsea were playing a team called Red Bull Salzburg in Salzburg, however. Me and a group of mates, there was 7 or 8 of us, varied of ages. There was myself, who was 22 at the time, up to people in their mid-40s. We decided to do a night in Vienna first, the capital of Austria, because it was a friend's birthday. Given that it was a friend's birthday and we were in Austria, obviously we went to the hotel. I put my passport in a safe, locked the safe, all good. We went to a sports bar, all good. We then went to an adults club. I'm going to put that politely. Nothing happened, by the way, just to put that out. It was someone's birthday and there was an event there or something. Went to the adults club. And we then went from the adults club. Obviously, this was in silly hours in the morning. All of us completely drunk, in a bad state of mind. Back to the hotel. We all woke up at 5 a.m. the next morning because we had a 3-hour train to catch from Vienna to Salzburg. I went into the safe to get my passport. Passport was gone. My heart sunk. I tore the hotel room, and it was a very nice hotel room as well. Tore it apart, I lifted everything, threw everything on the floor, couldn't find it. Because I was drunk, obviously hungover, I weren't sure if I had put it in the safe or not. I weren't sure. Everyone obviously had to go because we had a train to catch. They went on the train. This was then 9 a.m. and I was thinking, I was at McDonald's having a breakfast while I was crapping myself, to be honest, thinking, what do I do? How do I get home? So at 9:30, I walk first to the sports club we went to. Nothing there, and it was combined to a hotel, so that was fun because the first thing they said was, "Are you a guest?" "No." "Oh, sorry, we can't help you." "Right, brilliant." I then went to the adults club at 9:45, probably the earliest anybody has ever gone to an adults club. It was obviously closed. They were inside cleaning. Didn't have it. I even emailed them. They were very helpful. Then went back to the hotel and they said, "No, we've not got it. It's gone." I said, "Okay, I will give them a number. If you find it, please let me know." So I then went to the embassy and thankfully got an emergency passport to fly home, which was even worse because I had a connection via Italy to save money. I then went back to the hotel a couple of hours later to ask to see their CCTV because I wanted to know what happened, because I was dead certain it was in the safe. I appreciate it's going on quite a bit. They showed me the CCTV. At first they were saying, "No, we can't show you, there'll be nothing wrong with it." We looked at it. Not only did they show a maid walking in there, they then showed a maid walking out the night we were all in this club with a passport in her hand. Guess who then didn't show up for work the next day?
says, what, the cleaner took your
So
passport?
the maid, whilst we were all out in an adults club, took my passport and did not show up for work ever again.
What? but it was in the hotel room.
So I was correct. It was in the safe. I was right, but obviously the cleaners have obviously an override code to
Yeah.
everything. If she'd gone in there during the night when we were all out, gone in the safe, and the only thing in the safe was my passport, which had, for example, visas to Russia in there. Obviously, I needed to get home, and it was also the week of a national holiday in Austria. So I got the world's fastest emergency passport. But a maid went into my hotel room, went into the safe, took my passport, and vanished, never turned up for work again. And even there, I then watched the CCTV with the hotel manager, and there was this maid going in and going out whilst I was still hungover.
Wait, so hold on. So the maid's done this at like 3
But-
o'clock in the morning.
I got my emergency passport, got the train, and still made the match.
Did Chelsea win?
We did win.
That's all that matters then, isn't it?
Right, hold on. What's the? Can people rate it, by the way, please?
What
Is this a good story?
Chris Wharton says that's a bad, but that's not a dumb story.
I mean, yeah, I guess it's not dumb.
Saz says
It's a
that
bad
there's
story.
there's a Nick Golding impersonator out there. Maybe that's the
Honestly,
person.
there's someone
Maybe
who's someone.
maybe that's the person who's doing the Nick
The
Golding
thing that I
struggle
hate
account.
about
Do you
it
think the mate's
is
doing the Nick Golding struggle account?
No. The thing, this passport though had so many like stamps and stuff, and I love collecting airport stamps. And obviously they were all gone. And since then, obviously there was the Saudi Arabia incident where someone cancelled my passport and reported it as stolen whilst I had it. Still don't know who that is. So I lost a lot of stamps. That's what.
Annoyed you the most? It's a great
Well,
story.
people are saying it's really bad but not dumb. So I feel like I've just wasted everyone's last 2 hours with the dumb championship.
But we got some great stories.
I feel like I've just like lowered the level.
No,
of
that was
my
like,
debut.
so what was that? A 1? I'm only joking. 5 for Madness. I can't believe that. I can't believe that.
So yeah, from now on, I never keep anything in a safe.
Yeah, just
In a safe.
I'll tell you, I don't think I will.
Yeah,
of
no,
that.
that's yeah. So that's I'm never going back to Austria. We have a Vienna E-Prix.
Yeah.
No, I'll probably still be there.
Pico's rule, he's just texted me. He says my rule would be ban track action before 9 a.m. because he'd like sleep.
Yeah, I agree. I love the fact how Pico's now just completely gone over my story. Is that how bad?
That would be his rule.
On that note, guys, thanks for having me.
On that bombshell, by the way, thank you so much. We had a bit of overtime, but I think that was potentially one of my favourite FE bars. Ever.
No, it was amazing, guys.
The stories were unreal. Like I think that was
Amazing.
one of the best ones. I hope you all enjoyed it. That is it. There may be an FE bar before Portland, depending on the
Come on, you've got to. You've got to.
Well, we are in negotiations with some people to try and see if we can get some more special guests.
Contract talks.
Contract talks have been started, so might be able to squeeze one in, a special guest before. If not, they might be more off season. But we'll see what happens. However, we do have the World Motorsport Council. Obviously going to ratify the calendar, so potentially we could do a calendar. Once the calendar has been revealed, we could do a show reacting to the calendar and what everyone thinks.
FE bar with special guest calendar.
The calendar, not a special guest, but I think that could be a good show. That could be a good show to react to the calendar. Who's gone? Where we're going? What are we excited for? That could be a very good one. So once I find out, I need to double check when the World Motorsport Council are meeting.
Next month.
It is next month, but the exact date, and then maybe once the calendar is announced, we could do an FE bar show. I should
June
know
the
it.
17th rings a bell for some reason.
I should know it too, but it'll be on the FIA website somewhere. It'll be on the FIA website somewhere. So I'll find out when that is, and we can react to the calendar. And I'm sure there'll be some TBC slots. What's the TBC slots? And then we can have a chat about why release a calendar with TBC slots. I hate that the most. But thank you very much. If you haven't already, please make sure you hit the like button on the stream. And if you haven't subscribed yet, if you've been hanging around and you've been enjoying the show and you haven't hit that subscribe button, hit that subscribe button. It means the world. Nick, an amazing debut. Thank you so much for coming on and substituting for.
Thank you for having me.
For Pico. I've been Jack George Maynard. This has been the FE Bar. I hope you've enjoyed it. And we'll be back very soon. Good night.